And if I had to be another person to stand up, if I think, after really going through this, and looking at the files and looking at the case, if I really feel that Karen Reed didn't do this and I have to be a voice that stands up and helps, I will.
We are expecting to learn more about the allegations against the girlfriend of a Boston police officer who was found unresponsive in the snow Saturday morning. I-Team sources say Karen Reed was in a relationship with John O'Keefe. She's facing charges including motor vehicle homicide and manslaughter.
We're the only ones fighting for the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe. And me and my family and my attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Now, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
And no, she didn't do it. No, she didn't do it. This is an innocent woman. She didn't do it.
I tried to save his life.
Yeah.
I tried to save his life at 6 in the morning. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life.
Why'd you admit to it?
She didn't admit to it. She didn't admit to anything close to that. Nothing close to that. And you should know that.
That was like 3 or 4 times she admitted to it.
No, she didn't.
That's not true.
She asked a question. She asked a question, which is very different. She didn't admit to anything.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Karen Reed's not going to fold. Karen Reed's not going to give up. Defense team's not going to quit. The Free Karen Reed movement is going to continue. We will continue to raise funds for her. We will continue to do standouts across Massachusetts, across the nation, across the world to let everybody know what's going on here in the state of Massachusetts, the corruption. And we will continue to get the word out there. Believe me. Believe me. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Let's Talk Live here on LTL Media. Gosh, I feel like I've been away forever, but I could sneak a live stream in tonight. It's really nice to be back here in Rentham in the studio. It's felt like it's been a little while. I've been quiet, kind of been quiet, but been active, on X and Facebook a little bit. It's hard to pull away. A lot goes through our minds as creators. And when we have a thought or we have some information that comes out, we want to get it out there and put it out there for all of you. But it's really great to be back here. I've been enjoying my break. I promise that I'm probably going to take a few more days after this, but it is Christmas Eve. And like I said, I had some time tonight to come on and pop on a live. My lady friend she is down the Cape with her mom for the next couple of days, and I didn't have much going on. I worked today, got out of work at 6 o'clock and just basically said, let's go do a Christmas live. Let's try to give back to Karen Reed's Defense Fund tonight. So I wanted to come on here, spend some time with all of you on this happy Christmas Eve. And I'm going to just see who's here. Let's go to the top of the chat. And then I did a poll before we came on live. So this is exciting. We're going to go through some testimony tonight. And we'll see who ultimately won and who's going to do the test, whose testimony we'll go through. Greg's here. What's going on, Greg? Let's see. I know it was 50-50 when we started doing the poll in the chat. We're going to go through either Jennifer McCabe or Brian Higgins testimony tonight. I think I know why the popularity of Brian Higgins, because it's just 2 decorated dudes. It's 2 decorated dudes. And I hope you guys all got to see my Christmas card that I put out the other day of 2 decorated dudes. It was hilarious. I was having a good fun with that. Lois Lane, thank you so much for becoming a new member of the channel. Thank you. Sharon says, Merry Christmas to everyone. Nothing, peace, and love from Canada. Good to see you. Everybody, look at this, making changes. Go Squad member, thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, Jody. It's nice to see you here. Jen O, Merry Christmas. The Rubber Duck Run Amok. I love that. That's a great name. Merry Christmas to you in chat. Lori's here. I'm a Go Squad member. Good to see you. Merry Christmas to you. Jen Altman in the house. We have a wrench and in Merry Christmas Eve. And Happy Hanukkah to you. I believe Hanukkah starts soon, right? I think so. I want to say Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish friends out there as well. Joanna's in the house. Nice to see you. Hester's Keeper, a long-time member of the channel, says, Merry Christmas, Brian Mods and chat. Nice to see you. We got Mary here. Mary, nice to see you. Wrench, a moderator, has been with me for a very, very long time. I think going back to the Idaho days, you've been here. Jen's here. Chunky Higgins, Brian hates smells like boiled cabbage. I love that. Meredith is here saying Merry Christmas, everyone. Hopefully you're still not rapping like her. Jeez, yes. And Happy Hanukkah, which starts tomorrow. That rarely ever happens. That's right. It's a big calendar shift this year. Hubert saying, please be kind, everyone. Gen X is in the house. D is here. Let's see. Dump the juice. There he is. Merry Christmas, Kat. Mindy, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Jessica. Lisa's here. Cindy, a longtime member and follower of the channel. Back to the Idaho days. Nice to see you as well. Oh, Jen, thank you. Jen saying she's a lucky gal. She's an amazing person. Had a lot of fun together. Jennifer McCabe's tooth is here. I don't know if Jennifer McCabe's going to win the poll, though. But we'll check it here in a second. You have such an awesome smile. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Mark. Yo, Mark. What's up? Margaret's here. Hey, Kim. How are you? Hey, Brian, Mods, and everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Grant's Pants in the house. Longtime member. I know who that is. Debbie's here. Steve kicking it off. Have a Merry Christmas, LTL in chat. God bless everyone and stay safe. Thank you so much. $10. Hello. Hello. You wrong. Shannon checking in over on X. Nice to see you. Merry Christmas. Let's get through these. Let's get through some of these. Very festive. Yes, tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. This is so fun. This is fun. It's 1:37 in the UK. Love that dog avatar. That's great. Good to see you. So upbeat. All is calm. All is bright. Yes, it's Christmas. It's time to give. Hello, Christine. Hello, Sunshine. Good to see you. Merry Christmas to you. Ann, hi there. And Merry Christmas to you. Oh, it's nice. We have a lot of people on X checking in. Angry Survivor. Merry Christmas and God bless you. Well, God bless you too. A lot of Merry Christmases. Tsunami. I heard Santa's dodging drones tonight. Yes. I love it. Tsunami, a channel member, a moderator, someone that's been here since the Idaho days. And we're going to be getting back into that. I am planning to go out to Idaho this summer when the Idaho 4 Brian Koberger case kicks off. And I think I'm going to go down and live stream outside the courthouse for like a week. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, Lynn. All right, let's look at the. So listen, took a little bit of time off, relaxed a little bit, spent some time with friends and family. It's been great. Been working a hell of a lot, but in between that, trying to have like a normal life, and popped offline for, I don't know, about a week. It's nice to come back and refresh and recharge. And, I'm probably going to do that a little bit more over the next couple of days, take a little bit more of a step back, relax the brain a little bit. We'll come back and have some really great shows in 2025. And, I just want to make sure that, let everybody know this. 2020, we're coming to the end of 2024. And I was thinking about this today, how much life has changed from myself. I've been through a lot of ups and downs this year, and I've met so many amazing people and been involved in so many amazing things that have happened out here in the great state of Massachusetts. All the wonderful people that I've gotten to meet, all the subscribers, all of the, the content creators and the wonderful guests that I've had here in my studio. It's been such a long, prosperous journey. And yeah, there's been some downs. But there's been a lot more ups than downs. I've met some really amazing people that have come along the way, come into my life and been very, very supportive. And, it's just very nice. Like I got some really great text messages from people today, some real friends that I've made through this movement, and just reaching out, wishing me a happy holiday. And it's really nice to see things like that, because those are the people that you want to hold close, near and dear to your heart. And, those are friends that will be friends for life, no matter what happens. And, the bottom line is, we're all in this together, and we're all in this to free Karen Reed. And that is, that's the truth here. We need to go into 2025 with a positive outlook and be uplifting and be together and, get through, Karen Reed trial 2.0 And at the end of that trial, I confidently feel that her defense team is going to be well more than ready this time around to defend Karen Read, and Karen Read will be exonerated of all these frivolous charges and walk out of that courthouse a free woman, and then can go on with her life. But we need to channel that energy more than ever going in 2025. We need to bring camaraderie and togetherness, because she's going to need that. You know, she's going to need that going forward, and having that utmost support going forward is going to be very, very important. So, you know, let's keep this together. You know, let's keep this together. Let's keep the big objective in front of our eyes, and you know, kind of the eyes on the prize, and that is to support Karen through her next legal process, and you know, make sure that she gets out on the other side exonerated and walks out of that courtroom. So again, you know, I'm so thankful and so blessed to be here in this moment, in this life. You know, I get up every day and live life day by day. And that's, you know, how I look at life now. And there are so many things that happen, and I'm really learning, and I've been very open through this. You know, I'm really learning through manifestation and through the therapy that I've been going through, and, you know, self-channeling the universe. If you think of good things and you put good energy out there, good things will happen to you in all forms, And specifically in the last like 2 months, a lot of that has really come to fruition. And I want people in 2025 to start thinking that way. Let's channel good energy, good thoughts going into 2025, good things about yourselves, and things will happen. Believe me, it can happen. And I'm really starting to believe that the power of the universe, that the universe does listen, and it listens to what you say and what you put out there. And you know, I want to just make sure, you know, things stay positive and things stay good. So let me just go back up here. And Jackie is a member for 7 months. Thank you, Jackie. I'm going to get a sip of my water here. Then we're going to take a look at the poll. Santa. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, justice for John O'Keefe. That is very, very important. Let's see. Let's see what we got. So what I want to do, you know, because I like to peek in this time of year. I like to peek in this time of year. Let's take a look. Let's see. Where's Santa right now? Let's take a look and see where Santa is before we kick off our show tonight. So let's take a look. And Santa is over, let's see, Greenland right now. He's going to be over Greenland in 23 seconds. In 23 seconds, Santa will be visiting over Greenland, dropping off all those wonderful gifts and presents to all those great kids down there in Greenland. So we got the tracker up there. The NORAD Santa tracker. I love it. And look at this. Gifts delivered. Over 5 million gifts delivered to all those wonderful kids down there. And he's just getting over Greenland right now. And that's really cool. I love that. Love that, love that, love that. We love to have a little bit of fun, right? Mama checking in. Thank you so much. $10 says, Merry Christmas and glad to see you live. Well, I'm glad to see you here. I appreciate that. Mimi checking in. $20. This is Merry Christmas. Brian, great hat. Just checking in to the Hyatt Seaport to go to the Celtics tomorrow. That's fantastic. And thank you for all that you do in hashtag Free Karen Read. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting Karen, and thank you for everything that you do to support. Yes, he's crossing the pond. Santa was crossing the pond. Okay, let's take a look. Where are we at with our poll? All right. So, oh my God, I got a poll out there right now. What cross-examination should we go over tonight? Jen McCabe, 48%, and Brian Higgins, 51%. 52%. We're like almost split. But you know what? I think Brian Higgins is going to win it. So we're going to end the poll right now because I do want to kick off the show. So Brian Higgins is the winner at 50%. It was almost a split down the middle, but we get to hang out and watch this decorated dude tonight. And what I want to do is I saw my friend Mazza, and I think Mazza's in the chat right now. I did see him. Mazza, Merry Christmas to you, man. And Happy New Year. That's coming up soon, but Merry Christmas to you. And I think what we're going to do tonight is take a page out of Mazza's book. I saw him do a show, I think it was either last night or the night before, where you had people donate to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. And you just said, hey, put in the chat or in your donation, like Mazza Media, Chat Raiser. I think that's what you did. And Mazza raised almost $600 for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. So let's do this tonight. I got the link at the top of the chat. Okay. And what I would do, and I'd like you all to do, if you can tonight throughout the show as people come and go, let's click on that link. And if you can donate any amount of money to Karen Reed's Defense Fund tonight, I greatly would appreciate that. And what I'd like you to do, because so we can track the totals, when you make your donation in the note, put in the note like LTL Media Merry Christmas. Okay, let's do that. And then I'll go up and total them in at the end of the show, and we'll see how much money we can give back to Karen. And we're going to do this as well, too. Look at this, $800, $880. That's so cool, man. That's great. I love it. Mike from the Young Jerks made a big donation. That's sick. And then what I'm going to do is if I get any super chats or anything about the show, you know what I do, the customary 25% back to Karen. So I'll add that at the end. Okay, we'll add that at the end. And we'll make a donation at the end of the show. So we got the chat up there. We got the link up there. We got the link up there. And if you can, so just put in your donation, LTL Media, Merry Christmas. We'll look at the end of the show and see how much we can total up. All right, let's get into Brian Higgins. Let's go through it. It's been a while since I've watched this. And I'm here. I got plenty of time tonight. So we're going to give it a run. And maybe we'll speed it up just a little bit. Let's go to 1.25. I'm going to bring this up on the big screen for me. Nice to see everybody here. And let's go. And
In an effort to try to prompt the conversation to continue, did you not?
I reached out to her, but I wouldn't say that's what it was about.
Well,
I'm going to do this. I don't know what.
Stranger, didn't you? Not once, but twice.
Let's do this real quick. I'm going to change my view. That's better. And I'll do this. I'm not sure what position you're in, but Mazza, if you want to jump up and say hi really quick, I'd love to have you come up on the panel. The link is there for you. Not sure what you're doing. No pressure to jump up. We'll do something again soon. But here we go.
I believe so.
Let's boost the sound a little bit.
Mind that this is a page from what you've just seen.
So he needs the.
I'm sorry. Something that was right in front of you. May I approach?
Please.
Thank you. Just a second.
Maybe that should just stay with Mr. Higgins.
Thank you. That's easy to find. It's literally the last page. Report permission, may I publish?
Yes.
Does that look like a fair representation of what you're looking at? The last page of that series of texts?
Yes.
At the very top, could you read what you write in the blue bubbles, starting at the top?
Haha, stranger, stranger.
And then what was the response from Ms. Reed?
Hey, I was at the Hilly all weekend.
And what did you respond back with?
I have not heard from you.
And by the way, if you look at the next date down, what's the date underneath I have not heard from you?
The 23rd.
So this would have preceded the 23rd, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then on the 23rd, and by the way, after you texted, I have not heard from you, she did not respond, correct?
She did not respond.
Then on the 23rd, she did respond with phone works, correct?
In the arrows, like both ways.
Right.
Yep.
And then what did you text after that?
I just said, thought you were all set.
And how did she respond?
She said, we're talking? No.
Excuse me.
That's all I have for that.
Okay.
Bring the lights back up. So clearly with that last text, her response was, in response to you saying, thought we were all set, she said, with talking, no, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Did that indicate to you that with flirting, yes, we're all done?
No, I didn't read anything into it.
Okay. But you did read where she said, with talking, no, correct?
Yes.
And then you responded, how?
I said, are you sure?
And did she respond?
No.
As a matter of fact, the next time you saw or communicated with her, she was walking into the Waterfall Bar on the 29th, late night hours of the 28th, going into the early morning of the 29th, with her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, correct?
Yes.
Now, you had discussed your flirtations, if I can use that word, that you had with Miss Reed with your friends, at least some of them, correct?
I don't recall that, no.
Do you recall that you openly shared the details of your interest in Miss Reed with your work supervisor at the DOJ?
Well, that was after I shared what happened, that she kissed me. Yes, I did share that with her.
And that was with
That was the first time.
That was with a person by the name of Kate Dowd. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that was before January 29th.
Yes.
And that's because your interest in Karen Reed, whether you call it romantic or sexual or whatever, your interest was something that was at least occupying your mind at that point, correct?
No.
It was occupying your mind enough to share it with your boss.
No, what I shared with my boss was the fact that she kissed me. That was it.
Did you discuss your flirtatious relationship with Karen Reed with Brian Albert at any point?
No.
Never.
No.
So you were on a 4-hour drive in a snowstorm back from New York with Mr. Albert, and your interest in Karen Reed never came up.
No.
Even though he's a good friend.
Yes, just something I wouldn't talk about.
You've been drinking since about what time? What time? That's a bad way to ask it. What time did you start drinking?
When are we at, Mr.?
I'm sorry, on the 28th, when you got back from New York. When did you start drinking?
Well, it wasn't until I swapped out vehicles and I went up to the hillside.
Okay. That would have been, give me a time frame. 9-ish, 8-ish?
It was dark. It was maybe in the area of 8 o'clock.
And what time do you think you got to Waterfall?
I couldn't say. I don't. It was after the hillside.
Before Brian Albert left Hillside, did he tell you that John O'Keefe had been invited over to meet them at the Waterfall?
No.
Was there any particular reason why you changed your mind and left the Hillside to go to the Waterfall?
Well, I think, as I previously testified, that it was because I didn't always take them up on their offer, and I usually did the Irish exit, and I decided because of the weather and everything else, and it had been a long day, that I would go down there and join them.
Didn't have anything to do with you knowing that Karen Reed might be at the Waterfall.
It couldn't have, because I didn't know she or John O'Keefe would even be there. I didn't know who was going to be there other than Brian's wife.
Do you have any text messages with Brian about going to the Waterfall?
I don't recall. He told me about it at the hillside.
And once he got to the Waterfall obviously before you did.
He did, I think shortly before, yes.
Any text communications between you and Brian?
Just want to put this in there. We have already one donation on the Karen Reed Defense Fund site from Rami. Rami, thank you so much. Donated $50. $50 to kick it off. That is awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. I know Karen appreciates that. And if you want to make a donation to Karen Reed's Defense Fund, please use the link at the top of the chat, and you can click on that link and you can just type in your donation, LTL Media Merry Christmas, so we can keep track of it here at the end of the show, and hopefully we can get some money in there. But $50 to kick it off, that's awesome. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that. All right, here we go. We'll keep going through Brian Higgins.
The Waterfall, who was expected to come to the Waterfall?
No, not that I recall.
Now, you've already indicated, and I don't think we need to go into a lot of detail about this, but I want to ask you just in general, the mood at the Waterfall was good spirits, correct?
It was great. Band was playing.
You did not see any sort of tension between John and Karen?
I did not.
Nobody seemed overly intoxicated?
No.
I mean, you had several drinks before you even got to the Waterfall, right?
I think it was 3 to 4.
Did you drink additionally at the Waterfall?
I did, yes.
Did you drink whiskey or beer or what?
Whiskey.
Okay. How many do you think you had?
I couldn't put a number on it. At least a couple.
And ultimately, you left from there in your personal vehicle and drove over to, that's the Jeep, drove over to the
yes.
Waterfall, correct?
I drove over to the Waterfall.
I'm sorry,
I was at the Waterfall.
left the Waterfall, drove over to 34 Fairview.
I did, yes.
When John walked in to the Waterfall, were you already there?
Yes.
He greeted you, you indicated, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Karen walked in with him,
Yes.
but she did not greet you, did she?
I think they kind of went like that in different directions.
Right.
Yes.
Did she greet you?
No.
Right. So she walked over toward the corner of the bar, and John came over and greeted you, and then walked over and joined her, correct?
Yes.
Karen didn't stop what she was doing when she was over in the corner of the bar and come over and say hi to you.
Exactly.
I didn't have any interaction with her that night, no.
So safe to say that throughout that evening, once she was sidled up next to John O'Keefe or friends that she was with, she never turned back around and came over and even acknowledged you, correct?
That's correct.
So she basically ignored you the entire evening.
That's not how I interpret it. No.
I didn't ask you how you interpreted it. I asked you what she did. Did she ignore you or did she pay attention to you?
Objection.
You can go ahead and answer that. Did she ignore you?
No.
So she paid attention to you. Came over and said hello, shook your hand, gave you a hug.
Well, just because somebody didn't come over doesn't mean they ignored you.
Did she do those three things?
Hug. What was the other
Did she
thing?
say hello, shake your hand, give you a hug?
No, she did not.
No, she didn't do any of those things, did she?
No.
It was like you
Rami,
didn't
thank you
exist.
so much.
I think
Very
that's
good for
dramatic.
you.
No, I don't look at it that way.
Did she ignore you or not?
No, she did not ignore me.
So what did she do to not ignore you?
She was
What's
work-
her interaction with you?
Can I answer now?
Sure.
She, in my opinion, she was working the room, talking to people, saying hello, catching up.
Right. The one person she didn't come over to talk to and say hello to
You.
and catch up with is you.
Well, I don't know that I was the only person, but I was one of the people that she didn't say hello to. Yes.
Treated you sort of like a stranger.
I don't feel that way. No.
Jen.
She actually positioned herself away from you at the other end of the table on the opposite side in the corner. Isn't that right?
I don't know where she was all night. No,
Did
I
that
don't know.
upset you that she ignored you or didn't pay attention to you?
I did not feel ignored and didn't upset me at all.
But it bothered you enough to send her a text, didn't it?
No, it was a flirtatious text. It was just,
Well,
that was it.
It bothered you enough to send her a text that said, with 6
Well.
M's behind it,
Okay.
and well, correct?
Well, it wasn't like that. It was, well, that's it.
Just well, like a well in the ground.
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I never
think you
noticed that
sir.
before.
You meant, well, when are you gonna pay attention to me?
No, that's not correct.
Well, why are you ignoring me?
It's not correct.
Well, am I chopped liver?
Objection.
All right, that's sustained. Mr. Jackson, let's move on.
At the end of the night, the group basically discussed going back to Brian Albert's house. Is that right?
There was discussion at the table of like, were we going to go to the pizza shop or were we going to go somewhere else? And ultimately it was 34 Fairview.
Before you left, just so we're clear, when you texted, well, she ignored that text too, didn't she?
Can you say that again?
When you texted her, well, at Waterfall, she
oh,
ignored
thank you,
that text too.
Christine.
correct?
Appreciate that.
Well, that was the only text I sent that night to her. Yes.
Okay.
She didn't respond.
That wasn't my question. My
What,
question is she ignored the text, right?
well, I don't know if I don't know what her mindset was. If she purposely ignored the text or she didn't see it, I don't know. I didn't read into it.
Did she ignore the text, Mr. Higgins?
I don't know.
Did she respond to the text?
She did not respond.
Jackson's so good.
So when everybody was leaving, did you leave before they did, John and Karen, or did they leave before you did?
I don't know.
You said you were the first one back to Brian Albert's house, correct?
Yes.
Safe to say you were one of the first ones to leave.
Lisa.
I was the first one to leave
Waterfall.
the waterfall.
Yes, happy Hanukkah.
Probably.
I mean, if you're if everybody's hurting out and you're the first one to get there, you're probably among the first to leave.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Katie, because if you watch him when Jackson's kind of grilling him, what am I, chopped liver? Well, why aren't you answering the text? He kind of puts his head down and gets a little bashful. He's like embarrassed that, Karen, he's saying this in front of the world that this girl was like totally just ignoring him. All right, let's keep going.
Most likely.
Okay. You never personally
Excuse me.
discussed going to 34 Fairview with, certainly not with Karen Reed, did you?
No.
And you never discussed it with John O'Keefe either, did you?
No.
You didn't say goodbye or walk over and give John a big hug or anything like that?
No.
Acknowledgement, did you?
No.
You just left.
Well, that's what everybody was doing, just leaving.
Okay. You too. Correct?
I did leave. Yes.
And all you knew at that point, all you knew was that you were going over to 34 Fairview. You did not know who else was invited over to 34 Fairview.
My impression was that it was an open invitation and I planned on heading over there.
But you did not know who else was coming.
I had no idea who was coming.
And you didn't say goodbye to John, correct?
I don't think I said goodbye to anybody.
And you didn't talk to him about coming over to 34 Fairview.
No.
Yet at 2:20 in the morning, you texted John O'Keefe, you coming here, correct?
At 2:20,
Sorry, 12:20.
I did.
And that had 3 question marks behind it, correct?
Yes.
Did you text Karen about coming over to 34 Fairview?
No.
So at 12:20 a.m., after you left the waterfall and made your way over to 34 Fairview, you were more interested in getting John to come to 34 Fairview than you were getting Karen to come to 34 Fairview.
No, that's not how I would describe that.
But you didn't text Karen, correct?
No, I didn't.
But you did text John.
Yes.
Robin, thank you so much. Gifted 5 memberships. Thank you.
You've indicated that you took your Jeep,
Metaphorical
your
oracle.
personal
Love
vehicle with a
that.
plow on it over
Merry
34
crumbs.
correct?
Yes.
And you were among the first to
And
arrive
Chad,
because you were
love
doing that thing with
Thank you.
the sort of playing around by plowing his driveway.
It was a sweep of the driveway. Yes.
And then you indicated that you parked in front of the house, correct?
I did.
I know you've been over this before, but I'm gonna ask you one final time so it's completely clear. Exactly where was your Jeep in front of that house?
By the mailbox.
Okay, can we have, with the court's permission, exhibit 66?
Okay.
This is a graphic representation of 34 Fairview, not
Microdot.
photograph. Just to orient you, do you see what's depicted in exhibit 66?
So good.
Yes.
Microdot.
I do.
You see the mailbox, which is about right there.
Yes.
Okay, where was your Jeep in relation to that mailbox?
So the back end of the Jeep, the rear, would have been about around equal with the mailbox, and I was not blocking the driveway.
Okay, so you would have been about there, correct? If the right edge of that highlight is the mailbox being right there, you would have been about right there on the street, correct?
Well, that would have been the front of the Jeep. Where a laser pointer is, it would be the front.
Okay, so the front of the Jeep was facing the flagpole,
Towards Chapman Street, correct.
and the rear of the Jeep was basically even with the mailbox strut or stanchion.
It was definitely past the driveway, yes.
Okay. You indicated the plow was a 6-foot, what inch plow?
I think it was a 6'8", 6
6'8",
foot.
meaning
It's funny just looking at Karen here, just eyeballing Higgins with that look of like, you're just such a liar. Look at that look. You're just such a liar.
the width.
Meaning the width, yes.
How deep is that plow?
How deep? Like,
2 foot, 3 feet, 6 inches?
I mean, it's probably a few inches.
Okay,
It's light duty. It's on a Jeep.
okay. And it's
Very
obviously
crispy.
curved and
Curved.
canted to the right?
No, it wasn't canted at all. It was straight down.
Okay, so it's not like, I guess I'm picturing in my mind, I don't know that I've ever seen one, that the front of the Jeep is not parallel to the plow. In other words, it would plow stuff off to the right. Is that not right?
I'm not understanding what you're trying to communicate to me.
How is the plow positioned as it relates to the front end of the Jeep? Is it perfectly parallel to the front end, or is it canted one way or another?
So when you're driving straight locally, where you're not going to worry about overheating the Jeep, I would just have the Jeep plow straight. If I was on the highway for a long distance, I'd be worried about overheating. So I would canter the plow, tilt it up so that air could get through the front grille.
So in other words, you can control it.
I can, yes.
How was it that night?
So
How was it canted that night? Was it straight or canted?
it was straight and straight on.
All right. When you walked into 34 Fairview, you indicated that there were people congregated basically in the kitchen area, correct?
Big.
There was some people in the kitchen area, yes.
How many people were at the high top table that you described?
Initially, when I walked in, I believe there was Brian Jr., and he was flanked by one, possibly two females.
And you indicated that basically you were positioned in that
Bonnie, thank
area
you
with
so
your
much
back
for
to
the
the
gift of
door for most of
membership.
the evening.
I was like I would describe this diagonally across from him and had my back to the door that I had come in, which would be the breezeway door.
But at some point, you had moved out of that kitchen area with Brian Albert, correct?
Well, I briefly went and looked at some photos.
Right. So you moved out of that area with Brian Albert alone to go to a different room.
Yes, and I think his wife, Nicole, might have popped in the room for a second, but it was brief.
Did you have anything to drink while you were at 34 Fairview?
Well, when I got there, they didn't have any whiskey. I believe they might have put a beer or something else in front of me. And, I knew it was going to be a short night there because I just wasn't going to, I'm not a beer drinker.
You've indicated in a prior testimony that you've never been upstairs in Brian's house, correct?
When you say upstairs, like you're talking like second floor?
Correct.
Yes, no,
You testified to that in a prior hearing, is that right?
yes,
In May of 2023.
yes,
And you said specifically, quote, "I've never been upstairs." Is that
yes,
right? All right. You understood when you gave that statement that you were under oath,
yes,
you were telling the truth,
yes,
same oath that you took here today, correct?
yes.
You indicated that the photos that you saw were on the first floor living room area, is that right?
I believe that's where they were, yes.
So the only floor downstairs from the first floor would be what?
The basement,
And the only floor upstairs from the basement would be what?
the first floor.
So if someone were to describe going upstairs to look at the photos that you've described on the first floor, where would they have to be to go upstairs to look at those photos?
Are you saying on the first floor?
Correct. If the photos are on the first floor,
Yeah.
and someone said, we went upstairs to look
We
at
were in
those
the basement.
photos, where would they have to be?
I guess upstairs.
The people would have to be upstairs?
Well, the photos would be upstairs. Is that what you're saying?
Where are the people? Where would the people have to be to go upstairs to the living room to look at the photos?
I'm not understanding the question.
If the photos are on the first floor, Mr. Higgins,
Yes.
the only floor beneath it is the basement.
Basement.
Okay.
And someone says
basement.
we went upstairs to look at the photos.
Come on, Higgies.
Where would they have to be?
Well, who said they went upstairs?
All right, so Mr. Jackson, you can save this for argument. Next question, please.
If Brian Albert said you went upstairs to look at the photos, where would you have to be?
Objection.
Sustained.
Now, Brian Albert had a weight room someplace in the house, right?
Yes.
And a gym.
I guess he called it a home gym.
Where was that?
You wrong.
In the basement.
Had you ever been down to that basement before?
Yes, one time.
When was that?
That was during the twins'
then.
graduation party. Summertime.
Summertime before,
Summertime before. Yes.
summer of 2021?
Maybe.
So if Brian Albert testified that
Could
you've
it-
never been in the basement, that would not be accurate.
Objection.
Sustained.
Now, you do recall giving testimony at another proceeding on June 1st, 2023, correct?
Yes.
All right, just going to pause this really quick. Appreciate everybody being here. Yes, decorated dudes, my ass. I love that. I just want to do this. Listen, we're trying to raise some money for Karen Reed's defense fund. I would love for you all to click that link at the top of the chat that goes right to her defense fund. Any amount of money helps her defense. If you choose to donate, what I'd love you to do is just put LTL Media Merry Christmas in your donation notes, and I'll go back and total those up. Right now, we're at $50, and at the end of the stream, I'm going to make a donation as well. We're at $50 right now, and it would be great if you all could do that. Let's try to help her out a little bit. I know Miles got like almost $900 the other night, but if you can, if you can, and we can donate back to her defense fund, that would be really great tonight. All right, let's keep going here. Higgies, piggies on the stand.
Of course, the same thing applied. You were under oath. Is that right?
Yes.
You knew that it was a crime to lie under oath
Yes.
in that proceeding. During the course of that proceeding, you were asked who was in the house and who you saw come into the house, correct?
Yes.
And during the course of that testimony, you admitted that you observed a tall, dark-haired male enter the Albert house that night, correct?
Mhm.
I believe that was in reference to somebody's brother in a pickup. I don't know if that was during.
All I'm asking you, Mr.
Two
Higgins,
decorated
did you say
dudes.
that? Did you say a tall, dark-haired male entered the house while you were there?
I said they might have.
Did you say they might have?
Yes. And that was in reference to
You may have
somebody's
just lowered
brother.
your own.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's take a look. Right now, we got the only one I can see up there right now is Rami at $50. Maybe it will come through here in a second. All right, let's keep playing.
Isn't it true that you indicated that a male showed up who may have been Julie Nagel's brother, correct?
I said might have, yes.
Right. But there was no question in your mind that a male did in fact show up, and you described him as tall and dark-haired, right?
Yes.
You were asked, a male showed up where? And you answered, quote, showed up at the house.
The link not working?
That I didn't know. I think he was there very briefly. I was half paying attention to it.
Here's the link
Question,
right
did that
there.
male come inside the
Again.
house? Answer, I believe he did. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So a male did come in the house that night, correct?
No, I said I believe he did. I wasn't sure.
Well, when you testified
Bonnie, thank you so much for the
at
one
prior
gift.
hearing, you were asked, so you saw someone else come? Question. Answer, somebody else. Yes. End quote. That's what you testified to under oath, wasn't it?
Is that in reference to that?
What page are you on, Mr. Jackson?
Page 485, 486, I believe. Yes. If I may, can I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Look at the top part of it highlighted.
Every time I see them like looking at documents like him, Jen McCabe, Brian Albert, they're looking it over and it's like in their head, they're going, how am I going to spin this? How am I going to change this? How am I going to fix this? What am I going to do to lie?
I do.
Mayor Coach?
Yes.
Especially Jennifer McCabe. Can you just show it to me? Is it in the document?
You were asked the question, quote, did that male come inside the house? You answered, I believe he did. Question, so you saw someone else come? Answer, somebody else. Yes, correct?
Yes, but I also said that I wasn't paying attention.
I realize that you want to explain your answer. I've asked you a very simple question. Was that your testimony in front of another proceeding?
Yes, it was.
At another proceeding, which you were under oath?
Yes, it was.
Okay. You also said that you only remember seeing that person come in briefly. And it looked like he was having a conversation with the two girls briefly, correct?
Yes.
You were asked how long was the person in there roughly, and you said it was quick. I don't, less than a
100%.
couple of minutes. I mean, it was quick.
100%.
correct?
Yes.
And then you were asked what he looked like, and you said, I feel like they were a little bit taller. They had dark hair, correct?
Yes.
So you testified that a tall, dark-haired male came into the house, at least briefly, in your testimony, correct?
Yes.
Approximately when in the timeline of events did that unidentified male enter the residence?
I don't know the time frame. It would have been while I was there.
When you gave your statement to the Massachusetts State Police, you didn't tell them about a tall, dark-haired male coming into the residence at 34 Fairview, did you, on February 3rd?
I don't recall.
You were specifically asked by ADA Lally, when you testified before the state court grand jury on April 28th, 2022, who else was present, correct?
Yes.
And you never mentioned a tall, dark-haired male coming into the house, did you?
No.
However, on June 1st, 2023, at this other proceeding, you were specifically instructed at the start of your testimony that it was a crime to give materially false statements in that proceeding, correct?
Yes.
And that's the proceeding in which you admitted that there was a tall, dark-haired male who came in the house.
I
Yes
said
or
I-
no? Yes or no? It was
Can-
that proceeding.
Can you answer that, yes or no?
No, I can't, Your Honor.
Next question, Mr.
What?
Jackson.
The quotations that or the quotes that I just read you and that you just looked at,
Yes.
that was from the June 1, 2023 hearing, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Oh,
Mayor Pro Tem, yes.
so I want to do this for my Idaho peeps, and I just haven't gotten the information out. So real quick, Idaho 4 update. I'm just going to pause this right now. And before I do my Idaho 4 update, I want to just bring some awareness. We're trying to raise some money for Karen Reed's Defense Fund tonight. There's the link. Her defense link is at the top of the chat. And if you can donate, even just $5, $5, $10, whatever it can be, please click on that link, make a donation. And when you do, just put in your notes, LTL Media, Merry Christmas. And what I'm going to do at the end is just hopefully, total up all the donations that we do during the stream. And I'll make a donation at the end of the stream as well. So if you can, even just $5 will help her. And I think like Mazza the other night did kind of the same similar thing here and raised almost $900, which was awesome. So if we can just even get some of that would be great. But anyway, real quick for my Idaho 4, Brian Koberger, if you've watched my channel since then in your OG, there's been a little bit of an update in Brian Koberger's case. On 10/10/21, I think that's the date because I'm trying to remember on the top of my head. Brian Koberger was actually investigated in connection with a home invasion. And I actually public record request that incident, and I have it. I have all the documentation. I have all the body cam video. I just have to put everything together, and I'd love to go through it on a live with all of you. But his name is in that document as a suspect, as a person of interest. And then, as we know, less than almost a month later, those 4 Idaho students were killed, and Brian Koberger's DNA was found on the knife sheath underneath one of the victims. So I think it's very interesting. I want to go through all of the documents. I want to go through the body cam footage, and we'll get that together and possibly do that on a live in the next week or two coming up. But very, very interesting. So I do have it. It's all on my computer back at home. I just got to get everything together, and I'm definitely want to go through that. So pretty crazy stuff. But we'll see what comes out of it. I mean, I don't know, but it is interesting that his name was inside that document. But anyway, let's keep focused here on Karen Reed. And when I have time to read through all of those, it was like a 43-page report. We'll get that together and go through it. All right, here we go.
That's what we've just read, and that's another page. Just take a look at that page and see if you see a date on it. The first page.
I see it, yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
What's the date, sir?
June 1st?
2023?
Yes.
How long did you stay at the Albert residence in total? Like from the time you got there till the time you left?
Maybe like a half hour, less than an hour.
And what time did you leave? Say 12:30, you said?
I think
I want to point this out. Leanne, thank you so much. Donated $25 to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. So we have $75 right now. That's awesome. It'd be great if we can just even get to $100 tonight. And again, at the end of the stream, I'm going to make a donation as well too. All right, here we go.
like I said, between 12:30 and 1 a.m.
And you indicated that you pretty much didn't say goodbye to anybody, right?
Stu, thank you so much
At the
for
house?
No.
I just kind of left. I said, see you later. Turn around, left.
As a matter of fact, at that
Thank you,
same
Vaughn.
hearing that we just looked at, your statement was, I made a beeline out of there, correct?
I don't know if that's the verbiage I used, but I left.
Why the rush? Why?
Oh, what did I do?
It was not, no.
Son of a gun. I went too fast. Here we go.
Well, in other words, there wasn't some mound of dirt, something obstructing your view. You could see straight across if you wanted to, correct?
If I wanted to, yes.
It's just basically a flat grassy lawn with a light dusting of white powder snow on it, right?
I don't know how much snow was, but there was snow there.
Yeah, you indicated that it wasn't even enough to stick to the pavement at that point.
Well, that's when I got there. Yes,
Well, you only stayed less than an hour, right?
that's correct.
So I'm assuming it didn't dump 3 feet in an hour, correct?
I think we can both agree that it's not free. It wouldn't have been 3 feet now.
Right. So it would have been a light dusting of snow.
More snow than there was there.
Peter Murphy checking in. Look at this.
How many-
Very, very cool to see him here. It says, Merry to all and all of the third-party culprits. Santa Levy is checking his list and seeing who is the naughty or nice. If we all knows, so does Josh. I love that. Peter Murphy, good to see you in the chat, sir. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well, too. That's really nice for you to check in this evening. We're like I said, we're playing through some Brian Higgins here, the decorated dude. And I just saw another donation come through for Karen Reed. We have a $20 donation on the Karen Reed Defense Fund. And she said, LTL Media, Merry Christmas. We ain't got no quit. So $20, we're almost close to $100. That's awesome. Thank you so much for giving. I love it. All right, let's keep going here.
How far would you say it was from the edge of the driveway over to your Jeep?
From where the back of my Jeep was parked,
Correct.
maybe a foot or two, or it could have been even with the edge of the driveway.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's probably a bad question on my part. When you left the house, as you started to walk down the driveway toward your Jeep, how long of a walk is that? Across the yard to down the driveway to get to your Jeep?
Short,
30 feet?
maybe.
Okay. During the course of you walking out the door, heading to your Jeep, you didn't see anything out of the ordinary in the yard, correct?
No,
You certainly didn't see a body in the yard.
of course not.
Now, you get in your car, and it's facing directly toward the flagpole, correct?
It's facing directly up the street. The flagpole would be off to the 1 o'clock.
Right. So just a few degrees off to the right, the flagpole is, correct?
It's off to the right.
Just a few degrees.
I don't know how many degrees, but it's off to the right.
Well, you just said 1 o'clock. You're
Yes.
a former military guy, right?
I am.
1 o'clock means 1 o'clock on a watch. 12 o'clock is due north or right in front of you. 1 o'clock is just a few degrees to the right, correct? That's what you meant.
At the 1 o'clock, yes.
Okay. So you didn't see a body when you got in your Jeep.
No, I did not.
Then you turned the engine on, correct?
And the wipers, yes.
And the lights.
Yes.
And the lights lit up everything in front of you, correct?
Yes.
Still didn't see a body, did you?
No, I did not.
Sitting in the driver's seat, you put the car in gear and you begin to roll forward, right?
Yes.
But there was a plow on the ground that scraped for a foot, right?
Yes.
So you picked it back up,
Yes.
looked out the windshield to make sure the plow was situated, and continued to roll forward, correct?
I knew it was up when I continued to drive.
And as you continue to drive, you're looking ahead of you and probably to your left to make sure that there's no oncoming cars, right?
Well, I knew there was no oncoming cars. I was just driving forward.
Right. So your focus is directly in front of you,
On the road, yes.
and everything in your peripheral vision is right in front of you as well, correct?
Yes.
Nothing obstructing your view.
I mean, other than snow on the car.
Nothing obstructing your view outside toward the lawn. When another car parked there,
No, I didn't. There was no vehicles in front of me, no.
it was the roadway was relatively empty,
There was no cars.
and you didn't see a body then either, did you?
I did not.
And as you drive past that flagpole with everything lit up and everything in your peripheral vision, you still didn't see a body on that lawn, did you?
I did not.
All right, I gotta step away for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Be right back. I
You're a
promise.
former
Be
firefighter,
right back.
is that right?
Yes.
Did that put you in a position of being a first responder?
Yes.
And you're currently a law enforcement officer.
Yes.
That puts you in the position of being a first responder, correct?
I'm also a tactical medic. Yes.
Which means that you have training to be an observer. You're a trained observer, more than the average person, correct?
Yes.
You look for things out of the ordinary. You look for things that don't belong. As an investigator, former firefighter, first responder, correct?
Yes.
And you did not see a 217-pound man bleeding out on the side of the road in the lawn or in the yard, just to your right by that flagpole, correct?
If I did,
I didn't
I
ask
would
you
have
if
done
you
something
did.
to help him.
I asked you if you saw one.
No, I did not.
And that's because there was no body there, correct?
I didn't see anything.
Because if there was a body there, you certainly would have seen that.
Objection.
Where exactly did you go when you left 34 Fairview?
I went back to the Canton police station.
When you were asked that on direct examination, you said you weren't sure where you went when you left 34 Fairview, either home or to Canton PD.
No, that's not what I testified to.
Did something jog your memory
That
about
is-
where you went?
That is not what I testified to. That was in relation to where did I go after I left 34 Fairview the next morning.
Why did you go to Canton Police Department that morning?
What's the question?
Why did you go to the Canton Police Department that morning?
The morning when I left 34 Fairview, the Friday into Saturday,
Correct.
to move 2 vehicles.
There's been quite an evolution of that story over the years, has there not?
I don't understand the question.
All right, let's talk about that for a second. You had an initial interview with Massachusetts State Police on February 3rd, 2022,
Yes.
correct? And you indicated during the course of that interview, which was just a couple of days, 5 days after the events in question, that you left Brian Albert's house, went to Canton PD to, quote, fulfill some administrative obligations, end quote, correct? You later said, when you testified in front of the grand jury on April 28th, that you went to Canton PD to do, quote, administrative work, correct?
Yes.
You've never mentioned,
I said administrative things.
you said administrative work was your testimony in your transcript.
I believe it was things, but okay.
Okay. Can we agree, Mr. Higgins, that you didn't mention anything about moving cars around, correct?
Well, that would be administrative.
So when you say I went to Canton PD to do administrative work or administrative obligations, you meant moving your car, your personal vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Although you didn't say that you were going there to move your personal vehicle, right?
No, I said I didn't move my personal vehicle. I moved work vehicles.
Or either one. You just traded off vehicles, moved them out of the way, right?
I moved the purpose for going back there was to move 2 work vehicles.
And the reality is you had gotten Canton PD earlier in the afternoon and actually moved some other vehicles, traded vehicles, didn't you?
I swapped vehicles out. That's correct.
Right. And you left the vehicles that you now claim you had to go move exactly where they were, even though you knew a blizzard was coming, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So you didn't move the cars a few hours earlier, knowing that you just have to come back and move those cars a few hours later,
I was
right?
more concerned to go eat and have a drink because it had been a long day.
So wouldn't you want to move those cars early on so you wouldn't have to go all the way back to Canton and play, parking lot with these cars in the middle of the night?
Not really.
Mr. Higgins, you weren't actually at Canton PD to do administrative work at 1:30 in the morning, were you?
I was moving the vehicles. I'm sure it's on video.
And we'll talk about the video in just a second. You entered the Canton Police Station through which door?
I believe it was the door to the right of the Sally Port as you come in the main entrance.
And you made note of who was on duty that night, correct?
I didn't make note. I walked by, I saw somebody sitting in the control room and then just went about my business.
So you immediately knew that your friend, Officer Good, was working dispatch, right?
So do you need to hear something or? It's really hot over there. I'm sorry. So why don't we take a 5-minute?
Court, all rise. Put everything up.
you just open it and see if she's lights hot over the window? Nancy, are you hot over here? Keep that over here.
You want to put it?
So why don't we all stay here and just see if we can do it quickly?
Make it seated.
If you don't mind. You know, I'll go over there too. Nancy, Paul will do it.
You are muted.
Need to see how she's doing.
All rise for the court, please. Flush. Can I go downstairs and use the bathroom?
Absolutely.
I'll bring that for you.
Email me that, and then I'll make sure you get it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that flash drive I left back up, and I'm flying home today. But I'll take my little external drive. Yep. Good. Give me an email address.
So,
Telegenics@AOL.com. Okay. Good. I'll look for it. Thank you. You make it. We'll see.
Yeah.
The famous fan. I missed it. The fantastic. We're going to speed it out. Sorry, I did take a call one of my moderators. All right. Let me get my glasses. I'll be right back. We'll get past the fan.
What? Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I forgot about the fan. All right. Let me push. All right. Here we go. Good stuff. Excuse me. Good to see everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Merry Christmas Eve.
For the second session, please be seated.
All right. I got a couple of donations that came in. Let's see. Katie, thank you. $20. She said, I'm her favorite show. Well, nice to see you. And then Bernice, thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Let me go to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. And let's do this. Let's see if we had any more donos come in for Karen Reed's. Oh, awesome. We got a couple here. Great. Look at this. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, look at this. Good stuff. Let's see. So we started off with, I'm going to get my calculator here. Oh, I love this. Thank you. You guys are so generous. All right, so it was 50. We got a $25 donation. We got a $20 donation. We got 100. Yes, Lisa, thank you. $100 for Karen. That's awesome. $100. So we're at $195. We got a $10. Appreciate that. Jacqueline, thank you. $10. We got a $25. We're at $230. We had another 20. That's going to be $250. $250 already. That's awesome. That's so cool. All right. Good stuff. $250. That's really cool. All right, let's go back to Higgins.
Thank you. Right, let's bring Mr. Higgins back.
Bring Mr. Higgins back. $250 for Karen sent one already. That's great. That's good stuff. You guys are awesome.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. Mr. Higgins, if you went back to Canton PD
Mr. Higgins.
1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, you would certainly be in a position to monitor anything that was happening at Canton PD at the time that at least you were there, correct?
No.
I mean, you would be inside the building, correct?
Awesome. Thank you.
With access to dispatch and anything else that was
Excuse
happening
me.
around that floor, that area, correct?
I did not go into dispatch.
You would have access to the interior of the police station at that time if you went back to Canton PD at 1:30 in the morning, correct?
I'd have access.
You could see if there was any activity going on, any calls, call outs, things of that nature.
I didn't have access to that, and I wasn't looking for it.
Not that you were looking for it, Mr. Higgins. My question is more simple than that. If you were there, you'd know what was going on inside the building.
No.
So if you walked in, you would just be completely oblivious to anything that was happening. For instance, if troopers started amassing to go out to a call, you wouldn't see that.
Objection.
The objection sustained. Ask it differently.
You were able to monitor, you'd be in a position to monitor what was happening at the station around 1:30 in the morning when you were over there, correct?
No.
So how long did it take you to get home from Canton PD?
A little longer from after I moved the vehicles.
Correct.
I don't know. I mean, it could have been 15 minutes. It could have been 20 minutes.
You live alone?
I do.
You did then?
Yes.
What did you do when you got home?
I think I had something to eat, maybe a couple more drinks.
A drinker, huh?
Then you went to bed?
Was either on the couch or in the bed watching the news.
On the couch.
In any of the prior testimony that you've given in this case, have you ever indicated, ever, that you slept on the couch that night?
I don't know.
Well, you reviewed your testimony before you
Well,
testified.
those would be the two options.
Okay. I didn't ask you about your options. I asked you if you reviewed your testimony before you testified today.
Yes.
Okay. When you reviewed your testimony previous to coming in here today, did you ever testify that you slept on the couch that night?
No, I slept in my bed, but I could have started somewhere else.
Did you ever testify in the previous hearing that you started somewhere else?
Not that I know.
Did you ever mention a couch in any of your description about what you did when you went home that night?
Not that I recall.
As a matter of fact, what you did mention under questioning in a different hearing was that you may have gotten something to eat, you then went to bed, put your stuff on the nightstand next to your bed, correct?
That would be the routine, yes.
You did not make or receive any calls after returning home that night.
No.
You were clear when you went to sleep in your prior testimony that you put both your work and your personal phone. You had two at the time, correct?
Yes.
A personal and a work cell phone, right?
Yes.
You put them both on your bedside table because that's what you do every night. Is that right?
Most often, yes.
As a matter of fact, you were asked whether or not you have a charging station, and you said, "Yeah, it's right on my bedside."
I don't know that I don't have a charging station.
Right. You said no, bedside. In other words, you keep your phone by your bedside on your bedside table.
Usually.
You also testified that you did not use your phone that night to go on social media, correct?
That's correct.
You indicated that you don't go on. You didn't go on social media because you don't have social media. You don't use it that much.
I don't.
You said I don't have the gram. I'm guessing that means Instagram, correct?
That is correct.
And you don't use Snapchat, and you quote don't do those things, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So you testified that the first call you received after returning home on the 29th was a call from Chief Berkowitz just before 7 a.m., which woke you up. Is that right?
It was around 6:30-ish, I think.
Okay. Your testimony previously was at some point before 7 a.m. That call was the one that woke you up.
Yes.
And it turns out, Mr. Higgins, that was a lie, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't a lie.
When you were asked that question at a previous hearing, you didn't know that the person questioning you had your phone records, did you?
I assume they did.
And you were thereafter confronted with those phone records, correct?
I was asked about them, yes.
And those phone records established that you and Brian Albert actually exchanged not one, but 2 phone calls at 2:22 a.m. that morning at a time when you claimed you were in bed asleep, correct?
I have no recollection of any phone calls.
May I approach you on?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
May I approach you?
Look at Lally play. Holy shit. Did you see Lally? He's playing like with a rubber band. I never noticed that before. Let's go back. How do I go back? Watch Lally's hand. He's playing with a rubber band.
I have no recollection of any phone calls.
May I
Watch.
approach you on?
Yes.
Right here. Look at him. What the hell is he doing?
May I approach you?
What is this? What was that? I don't think he had a rubber band on. He's doing something with his fingers. What was that? Oh, let's go back and look again.
Asleep, correct?
I have no recollection of any phone calls.
What was that?
May I approach you on?
Yes.
Oh, a cigarette. Stimming. Look at his hand. Look at him.
May I approach you? Yes, thank you. Take a look at those 2 documents and tell me if you
We need
recognize
the
at least the
smoke.
top one.
Rubber band.
Do they have a page number for me to follow or no?
I was just asking Ms. Little. I don't think we've introduced them. And
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna ask that they be
He's
marked.
giving gang signals. Yes, Mazza. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and Lethal Weapon is
recognize
too.
Yes.
May I approach you?
Yes.
These are, you know what, I'm gonna,
Counting lies.
if it's okay with the court, maybe witness maintain those documents.
Sure.
Oh, stress. Yep. Practicing guitar. For staring heaven. Oh gosh. Yes,
I'd like to have
Mazza.
those 2 documents marked only for identification with the
Yes.
permission.
Die Hard 2 is a Christmas
Is
movie.
one exhibit?
We can do it as one exhibit, that's fine.
Okay. Could you please hand those to Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Snap the band for a signal. Oh my God. That's the winter. They call me Bronchi O'Brien. I'm always coughing during the winter. I hate it.
Thank you.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Mr. Higgins, you see the document on the lower right. It has a page number or there's a numeric indicator 01770. In other words, 1770
On the lower right-hand corner?
in the right. I mean, in the red.
It says 01771.
Look at the next page. I think they're just out of order.
Why don't you come show
Am I
me?
missing something?
All right, we're gonna end the poll. So I asked, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And the audience has spoken. Hell yes, 71%, and no, never, nada, 28%, 295 votes. Thank you for taking. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze so bad right now. Holy smokes.
Sorry, it's okay. It's okay. I'll use the one with QQ and the one with 1771 because the other numbers.
When you're referencing them. When you're referencing them?
When I'm referencing them.
Okay.
Take a look at the one that's marked with the
Thank
QQ.
you.
I see it.
You've certainly seen that document before, correct?
I think I've seen it maybe on a screen, not in my hand.
That was these were the records that were shown to you in the prior hearing.
Yes.
And you acknowledge that at least the one marked QQ is a record of your calls, correct?
It has my name, my telephone number, correct?
And it indicates that on January 29th, 2022, at 2:22 and 35 seconds, you received a call from Brian Albert, duration of 1 second, correct?
Yes.
In other words, Brian Albert called you at 2:22 and 35 seconds, but it looks like you missed the call,
Dials.
correct?
I see the 1 second call, yes.
There's a second call just below that. On the same date at 2:22 and 52 seconds from you to Brian Albert. Do you see that one?
Yes.
And the duration of that call is 22 seconds, correct?
I see that, yes.
So 17.
Awesome, real quick, because it's kind of like a telethon tonight. Dina, thank you so much. She donated $10 on the Karen Reed Defense Fund website, and we're currently up to $260. If you can, if you will, we would appreciate it. I'm trying to beat Mazza, but I don't know. $900 is a lot, but maybe we can get there by the end of the night. That would be really cool. So tonight, what we're trying to do is get some donations for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. We're up to $260 on the Defense Fund website. And what I would like you to do, go up to the top of the chat there. There's a link. You can click on that. It goes right to our Defense Fund. If you so happen to make a donation tonight, even $5 would make a difference. $5 would make the world of difference for Karen Reed right now. $5 donation, $10, $20, $100 would be great. $500 would be even better. But if you click on that link and you donate, just put in your donation notes, LTL Media Merry Christmas. That way it can keep the total running, and we can add them all up. And at the end of the show, I'll make a donation as well to the Defense Fund. So I got big shoes to fill. Mazda had almost $900 the other night, but we're trying like hell, and $260 is awesome. I love it. All right, let's keep going through here.
15 seconds after you missed a call, according to these records from Brian Albert, you called him back, and there was a call lasting 22 seconds. Is that right?
That's what the records say.
May I approach?
Yes.
The fact is, you were speaking to Brian Albert in the middle of the night, approximately 3 hours before Mr. O'Keefe's body was found in his yard, correct?
No, that's not correct.
And that was 5 minutes before 2:27 a.m. when there was a Google search for how long to die in the pool, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
And then, of course, you lied about that under oath in that prior proceeding by saying, I don't remember this phone call.
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you, in fact, tell the truth at the prior proceeding when you said, I don't remember that phone call?
I always tell the truth.
Did you lie?
Thank you,
under-
Bonnie. I saw you.
No, I did not.
Thank you.
Would you tell us if you did?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
You acknowledge that there's a 22-second phone call in your phone records, correct?
That's what's reflected by the record.
And 22 seconds is quite an amount of time. Would you agree? As
It's 22 seconds.
a matter of fact, it's about this long, with the court's permission.
The court does not give permission. That's argument, Mr. Jackson.
If we were to count
Not
off 22
argument.
seconds, that's an uncomfortably long time, is it not?
No,
It's long enough to have a conversation, isn't it?
I didn't have a conversation.
Is 22 seconds long enough to have a conversation?
No,
A human being can't have a conversation in 22 seconds?
sure they could. I don't think it's anything of substance.
Okay, so that's my question. Is it 22 seconds long enough to have a conversation?
I don't agree with it. No.
Now, when you were asked about this and you were shown these records, that prior hearing, you had an explanation for what that 22-second call may have been. And
Well, let's test the theory. Let's see how long 22 seconds actually is. Why don't we do that? Right? Let's see how long 22 seconds feels. Here we go. Ready? This is going to be 22 seconds. And maybe you can say some dialogue to yourself. I think, didn't someone do this already? Hey, man, come on over. Let's do this. 22 seconds. Let's see how long that feels. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God. How did I do that? That was like perfect on 22 seconds. Did you see that? I paused that perfectly on 22 seconds. How the hell could I have done that? That was nuts. That was nuts. I clicked the mouse exactly on 22 seconds, but that's a lot. You can have a lot. You can have a whole conversation in 22 seconds. Yeah, I think AJ did do this at trial, now that I remember. Was it in his closing statement? I think it was in his closing argument. That is it's a while. I mean, that'll never happen again. Exactly. That was wild. All right, let's go back to Higgins. Here we go.
what the prior call made, correct?
Yes.
What
But
was
I
your
thought
explanation?
that he did, I think he did dialogue. Didn't he do dialogue? It's like, oh, hey, like, I remember, hey, Brian, this is Brian. I think he did like some dialogue to it. All
Used
right.
a phrase that people commonly used as a butt dial.
Jen.
So you think it's possible that you may have butt dialed
Oh, boy.
Brian Albert for a 22-second call that you're not aware of?
I think it's possible that he could have been inadvertently called back, but I have no recollection of that, nor did I have any conversation with anybody.
But you admitted that you lived alone, correct, Mr. Higgins?
That's correct.
You have an iPhone at the time.
Yes.
Matter of fact, that number reflecting those records is in fact, or was in fact, an iPhone. Is that right?
Yes.
You already indicated under oath that you don't sleep with your iPhone. You keep it on your bedside table. Is that right?
Most often, yes.
There's nobody else in your room. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you had your ringer on because you were awakened the next morning by a call from Chief Berkowitz, right?
Yes, the ringer was on.
When somebody calls you and you miss the call, there's a notification that shows up on that iPhone. Isn't that right?
I don't know how mine's set up at the time. I don't know.
And if you open up your phone app and you go to recents, it shows all the missed calls, correct?
I think you can get to them, yes.
And you know that the iPhone does not automatically call people back. That is not a thing, right? Miss a call from someone, it's not just going to automatically re-ring them.
Yes, I think we both know that, yes.
So to call somebody back, you have to go on your iPhone, open it up from a locked position, navigate to a phone application, then navigate to a contact, and then make a call, correct?
Objection. Awesome. We just got a $50 donation on the Karen Reed Defense Fund website. That's awesome. We're at 310 right now. I don't know, Mazza. If you're watching, I'm gonna catch up to you. Mazza. I feel it. We're gonna do it tonight. All right, let's keep going. Thank you so much for the 50.
In order to call somebody back, if you've missed a
500 would be great.
First have to
I want to
unlock
beat
your
Mazza.
You would have to, yes.
Mazza had what, 880? Let's beat Mazza. Let's beat Mazza tonight. Mazza was 880, I think. If he's still in the chat, he can let us know. But let's try to beat him. We're at 310 right now.
You can do that either through Face ID or through a 4 or 6-digit passcode, right?
Yes.
Don't tell me the code, but did you have a 4 or a 6-digit passcode locking your iPhone at the time?
I don't know if it was a digit code or a Face ID.
Well, if you have a Face ID, you have to have a digit code as well, right?
I guess so.
Okay. Did you open your phone with your Face ID or a multi-digit code?
I have no recollection of answering the phone or calling anybody back.
You also have to navigate, once the phone is unlocked, you have to navigate to the phone app, correct?
I don't know necessarily if you unlocked it with your face, if it would be right there. I've never thought about it.
Once you unlock that phone app, you have to manipulate the phone on the screen with your finger in order to make a call, correct?
You would have to hit at least one button, I guess.
At least one, right?
Yes.
So that's 3 or 4 interactions
25.
with the phone that have to
Add that
be
in there.
physically undertaken to just make one call, right?
But I didn't make any calls.
So how'd you butt dial?
I didn't make any calls. I have no recollection of any calls, nor did I speak with anybody.
After you were shown these phone records at that prior hearing, in that hearing at least, you finally admitted that you did in fact call Brian Albert back, but this time you claimed the two of you just sort of sat in silence. Isn't that right?
Objection.
So I'm going to sustain it in that form. You can ask it appropriately, Mr. Jackson.
Did you ever previously testify that you did in fact make the call, but you did not have a conversation during the course of the call?
What I think I testified was something must have happened, but I didn't have any phone call.
Do you remember being asked, quote, did you call him back, end quote, and you answered yes? And then there was a question.
There was a series of questions there. That's only a fragment of what I said.
I'm not done yet, Mr. Higgins. Can you answer my question?
Yes.
To the question, did you call him back? Your answer was yes, correct?
I think it was kind of, I must have.
Then you were asked, well, the answer was yes. And then there was a colloquy back and forth where you spoke over each other's words, right?
It was dialogue back and forth about this whole thing, yes.
May I approach you?
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
You see the pink highlighted question and the pink highlighted answer.
Yes.
What's the question? Please read it for me.
Did you call him back?
What's the answer?
Yes.
Thank you. May I approach?
Yes.
All right, real quick. Let me just get this. Metaphorical Oracle says $5. You should clip a short of you pointing out Lally in the chats, guessing answers to what he was doing with his fingers towards Larry's. Yeah, maybe we can do that. We'll clip it together. It was pretty good. That was funny. But thanks for the 5. I appreciate that. All right, let's keep going. A little while to go here, about halfway through. I'm in it though. I got time tonight, so I can hang. I can hang tonight.
You then said a little bit further in that same conversation, I did not have a conversation, correct?
I did not have a conversation with anybody.
And the question following that was, you just listened to the phone, what someone was telling you? Answer, it's possible that the phone picked up on the other end and nobody said anything. And then I terminated the call, end quote. That's what you said at the other.
All right, we got another $25 that came in. I love this telethon, this Christmas Eve telethon for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. $25 came in from Kay. It says, Merry Christmas, Karen, to you and your family, and happy and health. New Year free, Karen Reed, 2025 via LTL Media. That's so awesome. And we added Bonnie in there as well. So we're at 360. 360. Maz, I'm catching up, buddy. I'm almost halfway to your 880. And I'm hoping that my chat can come through tonight. We'll take the win on this one. But thank you all so much for being generous. Even $5 right now would make a huge difference in Karen Reed's Defense Fund. I appreciate it. All right, let's go.
They're hearing under oath, correct? Yes, sir.
Can I see it?
Sure. May I?
Yes.
Mr. Riley, same page.
Thank you.
The bottom portion in pink. If you could read that answer to yourself, please. You have that in mind, sir?
No, can I have a minute, please?
Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you. Does that refresh your recollection about how you answered that question?
Yes.
And your answer was, it's possible that the phone picked up on the other end and nobody said anything. And then I terminated the call. That's the only thing.
Meaning it's possible it could have happened.
It's possible it could have happened that you had a 22-second call with Brian Albert,
I
correct?
did not have a 22-second call with Brian Albert. There was no conversation.
You've had some time to think about this 2:22 a.m. call, correct? Since that last testimony.
Some time to think about it?
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it, no.
So for over a year, you haven't even considered the fact that you were caught with a phone record lying about not having a conversation with Brian Albert at 2:22 in the morning.
Objection.
Mr. Higgins, what was so important that you and Brian Albert needed to discuss something at 2:22 in the morning?
There was no discussion. I never talked to Brian Albert.
Dude,
Why
you're
22
lying,
phone
bro.
Objection.
Sustained.
I mean, come on. This is just like Jen McCabe with literally the black and white data in front of her, and Jackson asked her, did you do the 227 Google search? It's literally there in front of her eyes for the world to see. Hoslong to die in cold. And she's like, nope, but I did everything else. This is like black and white data. You lying, dude. You wrong.
I want to talk about what you did after you woke up on January 29th, 2022. That was obviously a memorable day in your mind, correct?
It was a sad day.
The very first person you spoke to after waking up was who?
Well, I believe I said I got the call from Chief Berkowitz.
That's not my question.
Say that again?
Who's the first person you spoke to on the phone that morning when you woke up?
Brian Albert.
Whose idea was it for you to drive to Brian Albert's house that morning?
It was my idea.
Was it important to you to speak with Brian Albert in person rather than over text or phone call?
No, it was important to support the people that were there.
So of course you drove over to his house. You had an opportunity to speak to him in person without any law enforcement presence, correct?
I was there with everybody, not just Brian Albert.
And Brian Albert was in the house and you were in the house, right?
That's correct.
So you had access to him and others without any law enforcement there. Is that right?
That's correct.
As soon as you got off the phone with Brian Albert that morning, who did you call? At 7:22 a.m. if you recall.
I think I might have called Chief Berkowitz back.
So as soon as you got off the phone with Brian Albert, first thing in the morning, the next call you made was to Chief Berkowitz. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yes, because he had called me first. Yes, I called him back.
Did you request?
All right, real quick, let's just do a pause here. So what we're trying to do tonight is raise some funds for Karen Reed's Defense Fund tonight on this Christmas Eve. And I want to thank everybody for being here. We've got about 500 people in the chat room right now watching this live. Thank you so much. And we got quite a few people on X watching as well, too. So if you can, please, if you are on YouTube, go to the link at the top of the page. It's pinned to the top of the chat. And if you click on that link, it goes directly to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. And I would love, if you could, just even $5, $5, a $5 donation through a Defense Fund website. And just put in there, LTL Media, Merry Christmas. That way we can track all the donations. And right now we're currently at $360. And I will make a donation at the end of the stream as well. All right, let's keep going.
Request from Chief Berkowitz, any information that he may have had concerning the investigation surrounding John O'Keefe being found at 34 Fairview that morning.
No,
Were you trying to see how much law enforcement knew right away?
absolutely. I didn't even know what happened.
Were you trying to gather information about what happened so that you would know what happened?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Is that
No.
what you were trying to do?
No, Your Honor.
What did Chief Berkowitz tell you about his knowledge of John O'Keefe's body being found just after 6 a.m.?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you tell Chief Berkowitz that you had been with John O'Keefe and you were at the crime scene the night before?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask that differently.
Did you inform Chief Berkowitz that you had been with John O'Keefe the night before?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
I believe I may have told him at some point that I saw John at the waterfall.
Did you tell Chief Berkowitz that you had been at 34 Fairview?
I believe I did.
Did you tell him that your vehicle was parked just feet away from where John's body was discovered?
No, because I didn't know where he was discovered.
Did you tell Chief Berkowitz that you and Brian Albert had a call at 2:22 in the morning?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you tell
Really
Chief
doesn't
Berkowitz
like
that you had
that.
been flirting with John O'Keefe's girlfriend in the weeks prior to his death?
No,
Did you ever tell Chief Berkowitz about the nature of your interest in Miss Reed?
no, I don't believe so.
Did you tell Chief Berkowitz that you had seen Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed the night before and that Miss Reed had ignored you?
Objection.
Sustained. You can break that down, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I may have just a moment.
All right, let's speed it up for time purposes here.
You indicated just a second ago that when I asked, did
You're
you
not.
tell Chief Berkowitz that your Jeep was parked
Yeah, I always look
just feet
down at
away
that
from
one,
where
right,
John
Mary?
O'Keefe's body was found? You
It's
said, I had
shame.
no idea where John O'Keefe's body was found, correct?
That's correct.
You had just spoken with Brian Albert.
He said in front of the house.
All he said was, John O'Keefe was found in front of the house. He didn't say, right outside on my front lawn.
I believe he said he was found out in front of his house unresponsive.
Okay. If he was out in front of his house, then you would know, because your Jeep was also parked out in front of his house, your Jeep would just be feet away from him, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you tell Chief Berkowitz that you had texted John O'Keefe to have him come over to 34 Fairview just hours before he was discovered
This
dead
is
in
so
the yard?
crazy.
No,
Did you think any of that was important when talking to the Chief of Police of the Canton Police Department?
I'll let him have it.
All right, let's look. We got some donations that came in on Karen Reed's Defense Fund website. I love this. Colleen, thank you so much. $5 donation. So we're going to add that. We're at 365. And an anonymous coming in, but tags the LTL Media Merry Christmas and hashtag free Karen Reed. So we got 100. Oh, Mazza, I'm catching up to you, buddy. We're at 465 right now. We're halfway to Mazza. We can come on. We can take him down. We can take the trophy here. We can get in the lead. We can bust over Mazza. We gotta get over 880. We gotta get over 880. But thank you so much. I love this. It's been a really good stream so far and raising some money, some Merry Christmas money to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. Really cool. It's awesome. All right, let's keep playing. I'm coming for you, Mazza. Look out.
no, I didn't. There was no reason to tell him.
You've been an investigator for some 15 years and you were a firefighter for years before that, correct?
Yes,
You're very familiar with some of the tools that are used in conducting modern investigations, correct?
yes,
You'd agree that searching electronic devices and phones is an incredibly important investigative tool that modern investigators use, correct?
Objection.
In that form, I'll sustain it.
Are you aware that searching electronic devices is an important part of investigations?
Objection.
Are you aware of that, sir? Do you agree with that?
I've utilized phone data during the course of my investigations at times. Yes,
Okay, so another way to put that is obviously phone data and electronic data is an important part of investigation. right?
Objection.
Sustained.
What time do you believe you got to Brian Albert's house that morning after you received the phone calls and woke up? What time did you make your way back over to Brian Albert's house?
Maybe around 7:15 in that area.
Was there any law enforcement presence there when you arrived?
I can't recall specifically. There could have been one police car. I'm not positive.
Did any officer ever ask you to take a look at your vehicle?
At what time?
That time. But actually at any time.
No, no.
So just so you know, the 880 was raised by Mazda the other night. It's pretty much the same way that we're doing. So I'm just having people go to the link. 100% of that donation goes over to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a donation at the end as well, too. So everything that has been tallied so far are direct donations to Karen Reed's Defense Fund tonight. That's what we're doing. So we got right now over on Karen's site, 465. That's the math that I can put together. And then I'm going to make a donation to top it off at the end of the night. So let's go.
That's my knowledge. Nobody from law enforcement associated with the investigation had ever asked to take a look at my vehicle.
So they certainly didn't ask that day, correct? On the 20.
What I'm saying is, to my knowledge, nobody has ever asked me that.
Right. So that's my point. I'm just trying to break it down.
You want to tell me every instance when somebody could have asked me?
Correct.
Okay.
On the 29th, were you asked whether or not your vehicle could be searched?
Searched or inspected? What do you mean?
Either one.
Well, I would consider a search the inside of the vehicle more so than the outside. I would consider the outside more of an inspection. I would have been happy to show them it.
I'm sure you wouldn't have. I'm asking, did they ask?
No.
They didn't have to search it. They didn't have to inspect it.
No.
When you met with troopers, who was it that you met with on the 3rd of February?
Trooper Proctor and Trooper Buchanan.
Did either Trooper Proctor or
Buchanan.
Trooper Buchanan ask to inspect your vehicle, otherwise search it?
Not to my recollection.
And to this day, nobody from Massachusetts State Police has ever indicated that they would inspect your vehicle.
No.
Yeah, and I mean, let's just do this for transparency. We'll do this. This is what I'm reading off. So if you look here on see how it says LTL Media, these are all direct donations that have come in. So those are the ones I'm reading off there. That's on Karen's website, Defense Fund website. So if you just keep scrolling down, that's the tally that we're keeping there. That's what we're talking about. All right, let's keep going. Going. Brian Higgins.
When you entered the house that morning, Brian Albert was there, Nicole Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Brian Albert Jr., and Julie Albert were all there. I'm sorry, had Julie Albert gotten there yet?
She came after me.
Okay, so at some point, all the people that I just ticked off, they were all in.
Had another $10 donation come in from Shelly, and she says, LTL Media, Merry Christmas. And it says, Karen is innocent. So we're at 475. Maz, I'm coming for you, buddy. All right, let's go. We got a little bit of time here.
Brian Albert Jr., Nicole, Brian, Matt, and Jen.
You all discussed the incident together, correct?
I wouldn't describe it that way, no.
Did each of you discuss your own perspectives about what had happened the night before in the early morning hours?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
People were in shock at the table, trying to figure out what happened. The math didn't make sense. John and the defendant never showed up. People were in shock.
Trying to figure out what to say, right?
No.
And you were all talking within earshot of each other, right?
We were all there in the kitchen talking together.
At this meeting, and these were friends and family, correct?
Excuse me?
These were friends and family amongst themselves, and you being a friend, these were friends and family inside that house discussing this incident, correct?
Yes.
So at this meeting, you actually instructed Jennifer McCabe to call Canton PD and ask someone to come back.
Objection.
Sustained as to that form, you can ask it differently.
At some point, did an officer come back to re-interview Jen McCabe?
Yes.
Jen McCabe had told you that she had information about something that Ms. Reed had said, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Did she tell you that morning?
She didn't specifically tell me anything. She made a statement at the table to the group of people and she clearly seemed like she was in shock. She was upset. And she made a statement, something to the effect that Karen had opined that she had hit John.
What she actually said was, I hope I didn't hit him, correct?
Objection.
It's not what I heard. No.
Who did you ever tell this to?
I've reported that.
That she said, I hit him?
Yes, I've reported it.
What you reported was Karen said, I hope I didn't hit him. And you said, oh, you need to tell Canton PD that. Isn't that right?
No, I don't think that's what I said. No.
You're sure about that as you are about that 222 call, right?
Objection.
Wham! Look at that.
Mr. Higgins, what time did you leave Brian Albert's
His
house?
head down in shame again.
It would have been, I believe, when Sergeant Lank arrived, and I think Lieutenant Gallagher might have been with him.
Merry Christmas.
You weren't scheduled to work that Saturday, correct?
No,
Matter of fact, you weren't on duty at all.
no, I wasn't.
Excuse me.
But you didn't go home and get some sleep or run errands. You went directly to Canton PD from 34 Fairview yet again, didn't you?
Who could sleep after somebody just was discovered like that?
Did you go home or did you?
I don't believe I did, no. I believe there might have been a stop at Canton PD before I went home.
As a matter of fact, you didn't just stop at Canton PD. You spent the entire day at Canton PD on the 29th, didn't you?
I don't know that I spent the entire day there, no.
Well, you've got a key card, right?
I do have a key card.
And that key card logs swipes.
That's correct.
So it logs where you go, access to, and access inside the
Yes.
Canton PD, correct?
Yes.
When you got to Canton PD, and you're telling this jury, you don't know how long you spent there.
I don't know how long I spent there. I don't know if I left and I came back. I don't recall.
So if the records indicate that you were there from 9 a.m.-ish after 5,
I don't know how the records would indicate that.
I'll show you in a second.
Okay.
While you were at Canton PD, did you speak again to Brian Albert?
I don't remember.
While you were at Canton PD, did you speak again to Chief Berkowitz?
Most likely.
While you were at Canton PD, did you speak with Brian Albert's brother, Kevin Albert?
I don't believe so.
Mary, I'm going to send something to you. I'm going to email something to you right now so you can take a look at it. I think you'll be interested in this. This is what I was talking about earlier in the Idaho case. Got a couple things,
This particular area.
couple articles coming over, Mary.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a 167-page document. Just take a glance through. Obviously, don't read the whole thing. Just glance through it and tell me if you recognize what that is.
I got all the documents too. We'll go over it. Let's see.
So it says Canton Police, all events logged by day.
So don't read it out loud, please.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Just,
Ron.
do you
Yes,
recognize
I do.
it?
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes.
This appears to be a log of key swipes in and around. Canton PD,
Yeah, Mary, check your email.
Yes.
And it's in reverse chronological order, in other words.
I didn't note that, but okay.
Okay. You acknowledge that that is a record of the key swipes that everybody uses moving in and around Canton PD, going through doors, every place that needs a key swipe is logged.
I would assume that's what that is, yes.
All right.
Yes, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Karen, Karen, Karen. Karen, not Karen Reed, another Karen. Karen just donated $50. $50 to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. We're currently at $525. It says, in memory of Enrique and Free Karen Reed, thank you, Brian, at LTL for everything you do. Well, thank you so much for that donation. It's so cool. We're at $525 right now. And that's awesome. This is a good Christmas gift. All right, let's keep going here. We got a little bit of time. Excuse
It
me.
shows that you entered Canton PD for the first time on the 29th at 1:27 a.m. Does that sound about right when you got there? You say to move your cars.
It's possible.
It shows that you were granted access to floor corridor 227. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
What about floor corridor 226 on the second floor?
Second floor would make sense because I went in the building and then to the second floor.
Let me have just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Let's speed this up.
By the way, did Brian Albert ever mention what time the officers cleared the scene?
No,
Without telling me the substance of the conversation, did he tell you when he talked to you at 7:20 or?
not that I recall, no.
But you remember by the time you got there, the scene had basically been cleared. There wasn't a bunch of emergency vehicles, crime scene tape, nothing like that.
I didn't see fire trucks. I might have saw a cruiser. I can't be sure. I don't recall.
You're not sure about that either.
Sorry, I'm
You're not
not.
sure about even seeing a cruiser, correct?
Not 100%, no.
Certainly were not contacted by a law enforcement officer who took your name and ID or anything like that.
No.
Parked and walked in the house.
You're all so generous. Dina, checking in on Karen Reed's Defense website, $10 donation. I love it. We're at $5.35 right now. She says, Merry Christmas via LTL Media. Awesome.
Yes.
I love it. Good stuff.
May I approach one more time?
Yes.
Same thing. I'd like to have that document marked as next in order base pages. It represents base pages 2850 to 3016.
All right, so marked for identification. Is there an agreement this is coming in, Mr. Lally?
There is not, no.
All right, so that's marked for identification, not
right.
next in order.
Can we take a smoke break?
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Cigarette, please.
Mr. Higgins, if you will, I'm sorry, are we ready? Thank you. May I proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Higgins, if you look at Bates page 3015, which actually is in order, that's not reverse chronological, it's the second to the last page.
I have it.
One quick second. And you take a look at the 8th entry from the bottom.
I see it.
Does that indicate that this all occurred on 129/22? This entry at least?
Well, I mean, I only, on that 8th entry, I see that that's associated with my name. I don't know what the other ones are associated with.
Right. It would be other individuals in Canton PD. I mean, this is the entire log for 129, right?
Okay, but what all I'm saying is that just my name is next to that. I don't see any other names, so.
Right.
Okay.
So on 129/2022, I'm just trying to orient you. At 127 and 52 seconds.
I see
Access
it.
granted, Brian Higgins, rear entry to secure corridor, rear entry to secure corridor, correct?
Yes.
All right, so that appears to be what the log entry or the key swipe entry looks like when it's logged, correct?
Yes.
If you look at page 2967, I'm sorry, I said it backwards, 2976.
Excuse me.
Okay. Take a look at.
You said 2976?
That's Bates page 2976. That's the bottom right hand.
I see it. Yes.
Look at the time entry for 9:23 and 39 seconds.
He's like, oh shit. Oh shit.
923 and what?
39
And that's on 2976?
should be.
Give me the time again, please.
Why don't we do it this way? May I approach?
Yes.
This is an exact copy.
Yeah, this time's all over the place. My apologies.
That's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Thank you.
At 9:23:39, I'm sorry, if you got that in mind.
I do. I see it. It's highlighted.
At 9:23:39, that shows that you were granted access to the Sally Port to front exit, front entry to Sally Port, correct?
Yes.
There's only one Sally Port at Canton PD, correct?
Yes. And there's a door on each side of the Sally Port.
Two
Yes.
bay doors, right?
2 bay doors on each side.
And
Yes.
then there's a
Pass through.
personal pass-through door as well.
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I want to try to speed this up just a bit because it's small print, reverse chronological order. On page 2976, there's also an entry, same page, should be right above that, 9:23:50, showing that you were granted access from booking to Sally Port as well, correct?
Okay. 2976. And what was the
Same
time?
page,
Yes.
it's about maybe 6 entries above, 6 entries up. You'll look for time 9:23 and 50 seconds.
It's
Yes.
All right. And
it's so impressive to sit here and watch trial and watch how lawyers work. And, the really impressive thing about it is that there is so much information that they have to sift through. And there's so much information that they have to use in their arsenal to tell a story. And it's so incredible the amount of like sifting and sorting and presenting. To have that ability, to have a mind like that is just so impressive. I mean, you have to be essentially a human sponge to absorb all of this. And I think this is what really, draws me to trials and draws me to cases, to listen, how lawyers present things and kind of tell a story through their evidence. It's just insane. And Jackson never falters. He just knows this like front to back. It's incredible. And yeah, I mean, they have notes at the podium and they know how they're going to, attack a witness or how they're going to present to a witness. But they got to prepare for this. It's just incredible. The amount of information. All right, let's keep going. Let's see if we had any more donos come in. Nothing yet, but we're at 5:35, and I'm super happy about that. And what we're trying to do tonight is get some donations to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. And the way to do that, there's a link at the top of my chat. It's pinned there, and you can click on that link. You can make a donation, just even $5. $5 would help Karen Reed. And in your donation notes, if you can just put LTL Media Merry Christmas, that way we can keep track of it. And at the end of the show, we'll have a total, and I'm going to make a donation as well, too. All right, let's keep going. We got about another hour. I'm in it. Another hour. Here we go.
that shows that you were granted access to Sallyport, and then from Sallyport to booking, correct?
How ironic.
Says booking to Sallyport, Sallyport to booking.
Okay, so that's a key swipe. You either enter it
How
into the Sallyport
ironic.
or from booking into the Sallyport.
Yes.
Could you repeat the question? Of course.
For you.
Vampire, Your Honor? That indicates, I have no idea what the last question was. I'll see if I can make a new one up. At 9:23 and 50 seconds in the morning, you were granted access, booking to Sallyport and Sallyport to booking, meaning swiped the key card in the door going from booking to Sallyport.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to belabor this because we could get bogged down into it all day long. Would you have any quarrel if those logs indicated that you were moving in and around Canton PD at 9:28, 9:53, 9:53, 9:54, 9:54, 11:40, et cetera? We can look at every one of them if you want to.
Well,
That doesn't refresh your recollection.
it would not be uncommon for me to move around Canton PD at various times or dates,
Right.
middle of the night, during the day. But just because I swiped in somewhere and then you have a swipe at the end of the day doesn't mean I was there the whole day. I could have left, I could have come back, and I truly don't have a recollection, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't there all day.
Fair enough. If we moved from 11:40 to 11:44, 11:45, 11:47, 11:51, 11:52, and then jump to 2:05, would that be an explanation where you might have gone out for lunch, 11:52?
Could have.
Okay, come back. If
Yes.
there's a 2:05 and 56 entry, then obviously you're there, right?
If the card was swiped, I was there.
I mean, you're not giving that card to anybody else.
No, I'm not.
No way, right? Let's just look at 2905 because I want you to be comfortable. Page 2905, and let's look at that 2:05 and 56 entry.
Have a good night, Heth.
I'm at 2905. Where would you like me to look?
He's super lying.
About right there. Basically middle of the page. May I approach? This might be a little easier. Highlight it for you.
I see it.
Okay, so that would indicate that you were back at Canton PD at least 2:05:56, and you were granted access Sally Port to front door, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay. At 3:10 p.m., you called Brian Albert's brother, Kevin Albert, correct?
I don't know.
Ooh. Now we
It's
get into
possible.
the piece of the I don't know.
If,
I mean, I don't remember every phone call I made that day.
Understood. Do you remember talking to Kevin Albert?
I don't know.
So you don't remember what you discussed with him?
No.
Do you remember that it was a 12-minute phone call?
No, I don't remember having any phone call, but I'm sure it's possible that we spoke.
Do you remember Kevin Albert providing you any information about the ongoing investigation into John O'Keefe's death?
No.
Did you ask him about additional information concerning John O'Keefe's death?
No.
Were you providing details back to Brian Albert that you were receiving while at Canton PD?
Absolutely not. No.
Do you recall that 2 minutes after you cleared the call with Kevin Albert, you then called Brian Albert?
It's possible.
So I think the question was, do you remember? Do you remember that?
Your Honor, there was a lot of phone calls made that day. It was an upsetting day. I spoke to multiple people at multiple times.
Why is she helping him? Why is she leading a witness? Where's the conduct in that? Unbelievable.
I don't have a recollection. I'm sorry.
Sure, you know, Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just to close this loop, that appears to be your phone record, correct?
Yes.
And it appears that you made a call at 3:10 for 12 minutes with Kevin Albert, correct?
It's funny. I was just watching Madam Court Reporter, you know, so I Google, you know, how much does a court reporter make? It says, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the national average salary for a court reporter is around $61,660 per year. Key points about court reporter salaries. Average salary is $61,660 annually. Median salary for Massachusetts is around $87,971. And obviously factors affecting salaries, location, experience level, and specialization. He's probably making $100K.
Correct?
Yes.
3:10 plus 12 is 3:22, correct?
Yes.
You cleared the call about 3:22, is that right?
Yes.
And then it shows a 3:24 phone call to Brian Albert then
Iron.
calls you at 3:24, correct?
Yes.
And you two speak for 6 minutes, is that right?
6 minutes, 5 seconds. Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection that you made those calls?
Based on the record, yes.
Excuse me.
Was that just a coincidence that you were talking to Brian Albert and Kevin Albert within minutes of one another?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on that day. People were upset. And I don't remember the phone calls. I don't deny making the phone calls. I just don't remember them.
Do you remember providing information that you were learning from Kevin Albert
How
to
would you
Brian?
not?
Absolutely not.
How would you forget those phone calls? I mean, that's like I don't know, like it's a very traumatic day. Okay. How would you forget what you had or what you said in those conversations? I know I would remember. I'm sure everybody in this chat will remember what you talked about. Right?
And then may I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Same record. If you look just below those phone calls to Kevin Albert and Brian Albert, there's 2 additional phone calls that you had with Chief Berkowitz and then Brian Albert again, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Higgins, it looks an awful lot like you're gleaning information from Canton PD. Were you doing that?
Objection.
So I sustain the objection in that form. You can ask one part of that question.
Sure. Were you getting any information from Canton PD?
No, I wasn't.
Did you provide any information?
Yeah,
to Brian
exactly.
Albert
Masters
No, I did not.
based on any conversations or conduct at Canton PD?
No.
Fair approach?
Yes.
But you were, in fact, on the phone with all of those interested parties throughout the day, you'll agree.
I was,
Answer that.
okay,
There's
yes,
no
Your Honor.
objection. You can answer it.
Yes, they're friends and I was on the phone with them, yes.
And sir, you were not on duty that day, correct?
No,
You are not a Canton police officer, correct?
that's correct.
You were not assigned to this investigation in any formal capacity, were you?
I was not.
As a matter of fact, you're a witness in a homicide investigation. That's your only role in this, correct?
Jackson
That's correct, but they're
Treadman.
still my friends,
And
yes.
yet you're still having conversations with Kevin Albert at Canton PD while you're at Canton PD, correct?
Not about this.
And you're having conversations with Chief Berkowitz of Canton PD while you're at Canton PD, correct?
I had conversations with them, but not about this,
And
no.
you're consistently through the day calling Brian Albert, aren't you?
I had conversations with Brian Albert. John was found on his lawn. Yes, of course, I had phone conversations with him.
I want to take you back for a second to a couple of other entries, including one at 3:57, one at 3:58, and one at 4:07. I'm going to draw your attention to
You want help?
2885 and 2886. Once you have the pages, I'll give you the times once again.
2885?
2885 and 2886. We'll start with 2886 and then work backward.
Okay.
First entry is at 3:57 and 54 seconds.
3:57 and 54 seconds, I see it.
Brian Higgins booking to Sallyport, correct?
It says Brian Higgins, communication to pedestrian Sallyport, communication to pedestrian Sallyport.
Look at the one just above it. That's 3:58.24. Look at 3:57.54. But the one, it probably is going to be just below it because it's reversed.
You said 3:57:54, correct?
Correct.
That's what I just read.
Got it. Look at 6 entries below at 3:57.36.
3:57:36. I see it. Access granted, Brian Higgins, booking to Sallyport, Sallyport to booking.
Then there's one more on page 2885. Look for 4:07:47.
.47.
Correct.
I have it. Access granted, Brian Higgins, booking to Sallyport, booking to Sallyport.
And there's no record in that document of you exiting, correct? That's just booking to Sallyport.
Yes. I don't, yeah, there's no record. I don't know if it
That's all-
records you
that's all
going
that-
up.
you
That's
answered my
fine.
question. There's no record of it, correct?
Not that I can see here, no. I'm sorry.
And you're aware that that's about 90 minutes before Karen Reed's SUV was delivered to that Sallyport, correct?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You're aware that her car ended up in that Sallyport where you were at 5:36.
I'm aware her car ended up there, yes.
Are you aware that there was other evidence that was also being held in the Sallyport?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you see any other evidence in the Sallyport related to this case?
No.
Did you see a bag, a grocery bag with 6 solo cups there?
Objection.
Did you see anything that seemed out of the ordinary there?
All I would do is use that as a cut through. Did not see anything.
Sure you didn't. Look at him. Look down. Look down in
Are
shame.
you aware that at 5, well, let me ask you this. You and Chief Berkowitz were moving in and through, at least in some parts of the day, in and through Canton PD together, correct?
At some points we might have been together. I'm not, I mean, we weren't together all day.
Matter of fact, he was also in the Sallyport around the same time you were, correct?
I don't recall that, no.
The records would reflect that, right? The records that are in front of you?
Objection.
You were in the Sallyport the last time you're logged into the Sallyport, it's 4:07. Do you remember seeing Chief Berkowitz at the Sallyport at 4:14?
No, and if that says that I'm logged, that could be me cutting
Mr.
through.
Higgins, all I'm asking you, I'm not asking you what you did. I'm asking you where you were.
I don't know where I was at that specific time.
Well, you walked into the Sallyport, we know that,
Yeah.
If I walked in, I
correct?
cutting through, yes.
Right. Was Chief Berkowitz in the Sallyport at 4:14?
Not that I recall, no.
Was he there at 4:30?
I don't remember ever seeing him in the Sallyport, no.
Was he there at 4:33?
I don't remember ever seeing Chief Berkowitz in the Sallyport.
At 4:50?
Objection.
Sustained. Let's move through this, please.
Owen.
Finally, was he there at 5:36 and 37 seconds at the same time Karen Reed's vehicle was delivered?
I don't remember.
Do you remember Chief Berkowitz, or were you with Chief Berkowitz when he made a call to the front desk?
No, I don't remember anything like that. No.
Do you remember Chief Berkowitz calling the front desk at 5:42 and saying, shut the barracks?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you remember any kind of call shutting the barracks, meaning shutting the Sally Port?
Objection.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember anything like that, Your Honor.
Okay, next question.
Why is she asking? Next question. Okay.
You didn't leave Canton PD until close to 6 p.m. Isn't that right?
I don't know what time I left.
Could it have been 5:50, 6 o'clock?
I don't recall what time I left.
You're aware that there's video surveillance.
Yes. Yes. Another donation. I just refreshed. Oh, man. Excuse me. Oh, my God. Oof. We had another donation come in. Let's add it to the total. $50. $50 from Kay Johnson. Merry Christmas to the Reed family. May 2025 be merry and bright. Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you break the record at LTL Media. Thank you. We are currently at $585 direct donations right to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. So good. I love it. Mazda, we're catching up, buddy. All right, let's go. We got about another 40 minutes. I'm in it. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go.
Feeds in the Sally Port garage, correct?
That's correct, yes. Around the building.
Were you in the Sally Port at 5:36 when the car was delivered?
I don't have any recollection of that, no.
It's one thing to say I don't remember. It's another thing to say, no, I was not there.
I don't remember being there, no.
Is it possible that you could have been there when that car was delivered?
I don't believe I was, no.
You don't believe you were?
I don't believe I was, no.
You're aware that the video surveillance feed from the Sally Port garage at or around 5:36, the precise time when the car was delivered, it's just missing, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you receive a flurry of phone calls from Brian Albert and Chief Berkowitz indicating that some taillight pieces or a taillight piece had been recovered at 34 Fairview later that evening?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you receive a call at all, without telling me what the conversation consisted of, around 6:12 p.m. from Brian Albert?
I don't know what day you're referring to.
The 29th.
No, I don't remember any phone calls like that.
Do you remember 3 minutes later getting another call from Chief Berkowitz at 6:16 p.m. that lasted about 5 minutes and 15 seconds?
No.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Woof. Hans Gruber.
Look at the entries for 6:12, 6:16. See if that refreshes your recollection.
No, you got to do it. You got to do it. And now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, I love it.
Are you referring to the,
6:12 and 6:16.
okay, I see those, yes.
There was a call at 6:12 that Brian Albert made to you for a duration of 1 minute and 7 seconds, correct?
Yes,
And right after that, there was a call from Chief Berkowitz to you at 6:16 that lasted 5 minutes and 15 seconds, correct?
yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
They telling you that taillight pieces had been found at the location.
Objection.
Oh, you guys are so awesome. And just refresh it again. So cool. So let's add another 10. So we're at 585 plus 10. $10 comes in from Jill. Thank you, Jill. LTL Media, Merry Christmas. And we had a $15 anonymous donation. Direct funds to Karen Reed's. We're at 610. We might get Mazza here. We got another about 40 minutes here. We might get Mazza on this one. And it'd be even great just to match it. but I want to beat them. So what we're trying to do tonight is raise some money for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. You can click on that link at the top of the chat. Donate to Karen Reed's Defense Fund and put in your donation, just in the notes, LTL Media Merry Christmas. That way we can keep track of it. And I'm looking to try to beat Mazza here. He had 880 the other night. We're at, what did I say? We're at 610 right now. We can do this. We can get there. We can beat Mazza. And I appreciate you all, your kind hearts this holiday season, to open up your wallets and help someone defend themselves against frivolous bullshit charges. I mean, we should not even be in this position, but thank you. Your hearts are big on this Christmas Eve. All right, let's go here.
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Okay.
I'm going to speed it up. Get through the sidebar. Oh, I don't want to rewind. Go forward.
Chief Berkowitz, about the progress of the investigation?
No.
Were you providing your friend, Brian Albert, information about the progress of the investigation or what you perceived it to be?
No, I didn't have any information on the investigation.
May I have just a
All
moment?
right, here we go.
You were not interviewed about this case but in any formal capacity until 5 days later, correct?
That sounds about right.
February 1st, Trooper Proctor?
I'm not exactly sure the date, but it was several days after, yes.
I'm sorry, I said February 1st, maybe it's February 3rd.
I don't know the date, but we were into February.
Where did that interview take place?
Sharon, Mass.
I'm sorry?
Sharon, Mass.
At what location?
Sorry?
What location?
Objection.
I'll see counsel very quickly at sidebar.
Why would you object to the location? Oh. At what location? Speed it up. All right, here we go. Back on. Game on.
The interview was not at the police station.
It was not, no.
By the time you interviewed with Trooper Proctor, you had already had numerous conversations with Brian Albert. Is that safe to say?
Well, the interview was with both Trooper Proctor, Sergeant Buchanan, and of course I've talked to Brian Albert because of what took place.
We planned.
Yeah, of course I've talked to him, yes.
Okay, the answer is yes, right? Can we agree?
The answer is yes.
Thank you. By the time you spoke with Trooper Proctor and Trooper Buchanan, you had already had numerous conversations with Chief Berkowitz, correct?
Yes.
You had already had numerous conversations with Kevin Albert.
Yes.
You had already had this meeting with the Alberts and the McCabe's over at 34 Fairview. Is that right?
I went to the house.
And discussed this case, as you earlier described in your testimony.
I discussed what we were trying to figure out what happened.
You discussed this case, Mr. Higgins.
Well, at that point, it wasn't a case.
Okay, I'm not parsing words about what a case is versus a matter versus an issue. You understood my question, didn't you?
Jackson.
Yes.
Is there a reason you don't want to answer that question?
I don't have a problem.
Objection, Your Honor.
Is there a reason or why don't you go ahead and answer?
Well, I feel you're trying to make it sound like something it wasn't.
I'm not trying to make it sound like anything, sir. I'm asking the question. Had you discussed this case or the issues surrounding this case with those folks?
I did discuss things when I went back to the house, yes.
And that was before you met with Trooper Proctor and Trooper Buchanan,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
You had already spent an enormous amount of time at Canton PD. We've just gone through those records. Is that right?
I have been at Canton PD, yes.
And you had been able to talk to, you had access at least to all the officers, correct?
What do you mean by, can you
Anybody that was coming and going at Canton PD.
access for what purpose?
Just to walk by them, to hear what they were saying, see what they were doing.
It's not what I was doing, no.
I'm not accusing you of doing anything. I'm saying you had access to the individuals within the Canton PD, correct?
To interact if needed, yes.
And very obviously, you had access to the Sally Port.
Good.
And access, yes. And that's a cut through I used all the time.
and anything that was in it. Correct?
I wouldn't need anything in it.
It was only after all that that Michael Proctor thought that you were worthy of a conversation.
Objection.
I'll rephrase it. It was only after all of that that you were interviewed by Michael Proctor and Trooper Buchanan, correct?
I wasn't interviewed to the following days. That's correct.
Real quick, I want to just pause this testimony really quick. I just refreshed. Kimberly, thank you so much. A $5 donation on the Karen Reed website. She says, Merry Christmas, LTL Media, free Karen Reed. So we're going to add $5. It's going to bring us to $6.15. Let's go.
At some point on February 4th, Chief Berkowitz called you to personally inform you that he had personally found taillight at 34 Fairview. Is that right?
He did tell me that, yes.
And to be clear, that's the same Ken Berkowitz that you were with in the Sally Port.
I don't recall being in the Sally Port with him, no.
What did you do with that information when you learned from Chief Berkowitz that he personally saw a taillight piece as he drove by?
I didn't do anything with the information.
Did you call Brian Albert?
No, Brian Albert called me.
You were asked a specific
Odd.
question in the other proceeding in June of 2023, correct?
I don't know if it was the specific question. I was asked a series of questions on how the phone calls came in. That's what I was asked.
And your answer was, it's 100% probable that I told him about that,
Ken.
meaning I told Brian Albert about my conversation with Ken Berkowitz, correct?
It's possible.
Was that your statement or not?
It was my statement then, but I've thought about it, yes.
And you've changed your statement somehow?
I don't know if I changed my statement, but I think the way the phone calls came in is Brian Albert told me, you're not going to believe what was found on the front lawn. And then I believe Ken Berkowitz told me he found the taillight, and I'm referring to the taillight from the both of them. I didn't provide any information to anybody.
Well,
Information was provided to me.
What you actually said was, it's 100% probable that I told him about that. Yes, 100%. I'm not hiding that fact. But you're asking me if I recollect specifically. I know I called him after
Objection,
that
Your
phone
Honor.
call.
All right, so too many facts. Go slowly.
Sure. You said, yes, yes, 100%, correct?
In that testimony, I did, yes.
And then in that testimony, you went on to say, I'm not hiding that fact, but you're asking me if I recollect specifically, correct?
I don't have it in front of me. That's what you're telling me.
You went on to say, I know I called him after that phone call, correct?
I don't know.
And you went on to say, if that's when Chief Berkowitz told me, listen, I didn't do anything wrong in this, end quote. That was your statement
Objection.
prior hearing, correct?
So I'm going to strike the end.
You're on a man?
Yes.
You said you don't recall that entire testimony, right?
Not that portion, but I know I was asked about how the phone calls came in and what was said.
Do you think it would refresh your recollection to see a transcript of your answer?
Is this it right here?
That's it.
I'm going to read it.
It's so frustrating to sit here and be like, dude, you know everything that happened inside that house that night. Like, you know everything that happened. And to sit here and have him deny everything is just infuriating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection to what your testimony was under oath in June of 2023?
I do.
And you said, if that's what Chief Berkowitz told me, listen, I didn't do anything wrong in this, correct?
That was the statement I made, yes.
Why did you say, listen, I didn't do anything wrong in this?
Yeah.
Objection.
Why'd you say that?
Because I felt they were being accusatory, and I was trying to explain what was going on. And what I had said over that was, I believe what I said, something to the effect, I can't be 100% positive. And then when I went on to say, it's probable. But I felt like they were being accusatory, and I was trying to explain how the phone calls came in. I had time to reflect about it after that, since that testimony. And both that information about taillight that was found was provided by each person. I didn't provide any information to anybody.
Next question. Thank you.
That's a lot of elaborating. And usually when someone elaborates like that, they're making a fucking story up. I had to go back and I had to think about it. And then when I thought about it, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's wicked sus, dude. And for the judge to even allow him to do that is amazing.
You said, look, I didn't do anything wrong in this
He is
because
shaking.
it looks like you and Ken Berkowitz were colluding to provide information to Brian Albert, correct?
Objection.
Is that correct?
Absolutely not correct. That's
And
wrong.
you knew that.
Over explain, they're lying. When people over-explain, they are definitely lying. They're hiding something. Let me just take pause and see if we had any more Karen Reed donations come in. Let's see. Oh, I love it. $10. Santa Claus checking in. $10. $10 donation. We're at 625. All right. Let's keep going. We're almost through this. About another 30 minutes. And we're going to wrap this up on this Christmas Eve fundraising. I don't know. Telethon, I guess. It's not a telethon. We're just trying to raise some money. And if you want to help contribute to Karen Reed's Fence Fund, let's go to my chat link at the top there. Click on that. Even $5 donation. $5 will help Karen. And in your notes, just put Merry Christmas LTL Media. That way we can track it. All right, let's finish this one up.
It's going to look like collusion, which is why you said, look, I didn't do anything wrong in this.
Objection.
Mr. Higgins, if you wanted to get rid of, and you've dealt with cell phones and electronic devices in your career many, many times, correct?
Over my career, yes.
You've probably even written search warrants for them, things of that
When the
nature, right?
lawyer's
Yes.
going to come in.
If you wanted to destroy evidence on your cell phone, what kind of steps might you take to do that?
Objection.
If you wanted to just get rid of information on your cell phone, it would be
Look at him look down in
what steps
shame.
might you take?
Objection.
Do you know how to get rid of information on your cell phone?
Objection.
That's allowed. You can answer that.
Do I know how to get rid of information? I mean, I think there's different ways. You could wipe your phone.
Anything else?
You could wipe your phone.
Good.
Factory reset.
Factory reset might be one, wiping your phone, taking the SIM card out.
I don't know that the SIM card is going to take information that's on the phone out.
So that might be
Smashing
one
it.
avenue. You could break the SIM card in half or
It
snap
could,
it.
it
correct?
could, yes.
You know, the SIM card stores an enormous amount of data that phone's just a brick.
No, I don't know that.
Okay. You could also, if you take the SIM card out, you just get rid of the phone somehow, right? Just destroy it.
Yes.
Might even consult with some kind of an expert to help learn how to permanently erase things from a phone, like a forensics expert, for instance.
Objection.
Sustained.
On Saturday, January 29th, you spent much of the morning rather, at Brian Albert's house, and then the rest of the day variously at Canton PD. You would agree with that, correct?
No, you said I spent much of the morning at Brian Albert's house?
Correct. In other words, you went over there at whatever it was, 7:50, 8 o'clock, something like that, and then until about 9 o'clock.
No, I got over there around 7 o'clock and I was there less than an hour. I wasn't there most of the day.
Okay,
I never went back there.
So you spent time at Brian Albert's house, then much of the rest of the day at Canton PD, correct?
Yes.
And then the very next day, that Sunday, you called a friend of yours, a guy named Matt Kelch, didn't you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's my best friend.
And
Yes.
he's a special agent with the FBI, isn't he?
Uh-oh.
Was he then?
He's never been a special agent with FBI. He's a special agent with ATF.
My mistake. I thought he was with the FBI. He's a
He-
federal special agent,
He's a coworker of mine. Yes.
which makes him a federal special agent, right?
An ATF agent. Yes.
And does he work for or have access to the Regional Computer Forensics Lab?
Yes, he works over there.
Okay, that's the FBI Regional Computer Forensics Lab, correct?
Yes.
That's how I got my mistake. I apologize.
Well, I just want to make sure the record's reflected correctly.
You and me both. So you reflected it correctly. So Matt Kelch is an ATF agent who works at the FBI.
Look at him nervous.
Regional Computer Forensics Lab, correct?
Yes.
And he's an expert in digital forensics, is he not?
He has a level of expertise more than myself.
And
Yes.
he's one of your best friends.
He is my best friend.
You spoke to him about the death of John O'Keefe, did you not?
Yes.
And you asked him for a personal favor, sort of off the books, correct?
Objection.
In that form, I'll sustain it.
Did you ask him for a personal favor?
No.
Did you ask him to show you or consult with you how to pull things off of your phone that you decide to get off your phone?
I asked him how I could pull text strings off my cellular telephone for the purpose of providing them to law enforcement.
This was not
Text strings. Only certain information he wanted to share. Can I just get take certain text messages, not the whole phone, not the whole data, just certain pieces of elements that I want to give up to Canton PD.
not in connection
Okay,
with any
Higgins.
case that he was working, correct?
That's correct.
It was not in connection with any case you were working, correct?
Objection.
Objection sustained, but you already answered. I'll strike that answer. Second question you can answer. Is this in connection to any case you?
No, Your Honor.
Next question.
But you asked your friend to utilize his resources
Right,
to teach
Philly.
you how to extract certain information off your phone. Is that what you did?
I asked him if it was possible to get this off, if there was a method to get this off my phone so I could provide it to law enforcement.
And that information was selected by you, correct?
Two particular text threads, yes.
Right. In other words, there was nobody else that was picking and choosing what to get off your phone. That was just you.
It was me, yes.
And the reason you did that, Mr. Higgins, is that you wanted to control and limit the amount of information that was pulled off your phone, right?
Objection.
Is that why you did it?
No, I did it because I wanted to provide it to law enforcement, Your Honor.
Okay, next question.
But you could have just provided your phone to law enforcement and let them image the entire thing, correct?
I guess that was an
I did it because I wanted to provide it to law enforcement. Then why wouldn't you have given them the whole phone?
option, yes.
And you knew that was an option at the time. And you're a trained ATF agent.
What's the question?
You knew it was an option to just hand your phone over. Just pick it up and give it to them.
And there was also an option to provide it to them as well.
Right. But you chose the one that you
Right.
got to select the information, not the one where they would get everything,
Right.
correct?
Objection.
Changes to that form.
Look down in
Did
shame.
you actually go to the FBI computer forensics lab?
Yes. Let me correct that. I didn't go to the lab itself. I went to a kiosk, what they refer to as a kiosk on the first floor over at FBI.
Okay.
And all local PDs, law enforcement have access to that.
And that's obviously,
It's an unrestricted area. You can be in there, as I understand it, unaccompanied if you're local law enforcement. It's on the first floor.
that is a federal facility, however.
Yes, it is.
Did you utilize any computer or any data extraction machinery, if you will? A computer or something to extract this data?
Well, it was a machine. I don't know what it's called.
Okay, fair enough. I'll use the word machine. I don't know what it's called either. So you hooked that phone up to a machine?
Yes. I just refreshed the page. Judy coming in big. A $100 donation to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. Yes. She says, LTL Media, Merry Christmas. Let's add it to the total. Oh, man, we're so close. We're at 725. Mazda had 880. I only need $156 to beat Mazda. Let's go. We got 30 minutes. We can do this. $5 will help. Even $5. Let's go. Awesome. This is so great. I love this. Good stuff. All right. Let's go. Let's beat Mazda. Let's go.
Correct?
Yes,
And that machine belonged to the FBI. It didn't belong to you. Is that right?
that's correct.
So that was a federal resource, not for anything having to do with any official case that you were working. Isn't that right?
Objection.
So I need to see you. I know this is, so I need to see you.
This is when the lawyer's going to come in, isn't it? I mean, yeah, cue the lawyer. I was just going to say, when we were watching this live and this lawyer came in, by the show of one in the chat, just type a one. Did your mouth drop to the ground when Higgins' lawyer got up? Tell me, show me, give me a one in the chat. Did your mouth absolutely drop to the ground? Because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, everybody, ones. Look at all these ones so far. I dropped to the ground. What the fuck is going on? Oh, gosh. Sue, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Yeah. Rest in bitch says, one, my mouth dropped to the ground quite a few times during this trial. Yeah. Oh, God. All right. We got about another 20 minutes. We can beat Mazda. I need $156. That's it. Let's go. Let's do this. I want to beat Mazda. The goal right now is in 20 minutes, which is going to probably be a little bit shorter because we're going to get past this sidebar. But I want to beat Mazda. Let's go. All right, let me play this. Let me speed it up. Once it catches up, get past our swirly bird. Come on. Gosh, YouTube's slow tonight. All right. Here we go. You're the lawyer. Yeah, that's the funny thing is too. Right, Mizzy?
While we're doing that, counsel, come on back. Yes.
Look at Karen like, oh, here comes the lawyer. All right, let's speed up. See if we got any donations that came in. Nothing yet. Speed up again. All right, here we go. You, the lawyer.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out how to.
Excuse me.
In reference to the key swipes. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why that just made me laugh. Chat.
We may as well use this time with me asking counsel a question.
Bring this up. I'm cracking up. I just like Mary's response to it. So chat says, "Swirly bird is what I used to call my ding-a-ling as a young child." And then Mary just says, "Maybe too much info." Oh, it's so funny. All right, let's go. Cue the lawyer. Yeah, everybody's home tonight. Yeah, watching.
Counsel, why don't you come on over, please? Mr. Conley? If you just go and just stand next to your client, Mr. Jackson's going to make an offer of proof of a question he's about to ask your client, or a couple of questions he's about to ask your client. Doesn't make any sense to me that somebody has counsel and the counsel is not aware of a potential issue. So you'll hear the offer of proof. I'll let you speak to Mr. Higgins before this actually happens before the jury.
Could I just have him identify?
Yes, I was just going to ask you to identify yourself.
Sure, my name is William Connolly, spelled CONNOLLY.
All right.
All right, real quick before we get into this, Ashley, thank you so much for the $10 on the Karen Reed Defense Fund website. We got $10, so we're at $735. We got to be $880. We got about another, oh boy, 12 minutes. We got 12 minutes. We can do this. I only need at this point, let's see, 735, 880. What are you looking at? $145. Let's get a $145 in there. Let's beat Mazza. So you're all amazing tonight. You're so generous. All right, let's go.
Yes.
The witness has indicated that he utilized federal resources for personal gain. The specifics of that testimony have been as follows. He indicated that he contacted Matt Kelch, a federal agent. He indicated that he utilized a federal facility. He called it an unsecure facility, but it's a federal facility notwithstanding, and that the two of them, he and Agent Kelch, utilized federal resources in the form of some kind of a machine, as the witness indicated, for his own personal gain, so that he could, as a witness, in no official capacity, working any official case, and in Matt Kelch's capacity as an individual rather than an agent, they both worked together to download certain information from the witness's phone in anticipation of turning that highly selected, highly curated information over to law enforcement so that he could later ultimately destroy his phone, which this witness in fact did.
Okay, so it's not entirely, I disagree with you. I don't think it's reached that level. His testimony was that he went to a kiosk on the first floor where all local police departments can go. It's unrestricted. It's on the first floor. And we just got to the part about a machine in the kiosk when you mentioned an FBI resource. So what is your question? What questions do you intend to ask this witness now?
Whether he's aware that under 5 CFR 2635.702, it is a federal offense to use his public office, to use any public office for his own private gain or for the gain of persons or organizations with which you are associated personally. In other words, an FBI agent or an ATF agent cannot use federal resources for personal gain. The fact that he contacted an ATF agent, the fact that he utilized a facility that is owned by the federal government, run by the federal government, paid for by taxpayer dollars.
I mean, he broke the
fact that he
law.
used a machine that is owned by the federal government to download certain information.
How that guy is not going out of the courtroom in handcuffs is beyond me. He broke the law.
For his own personal gain, that personal gain being, these are the curated texts.
And then Bev's sitting there going, oh, well, I don't think it's reached that level yet. Are you insane? Jackson's outlining the whole damn thing for you.
Turn over to law enforcement, that's a federal offense.
All right, so those questions are going.
She goes, yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
if there's been an objection to them. I'm not sure I'm going to let them in. But
I'm not sure I'm going to let them in. You got to be fucking kidding me.
With your client in the bathroom there, can you do it in short order? Or do you
Oh,
need to
talk to your client.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
If you feel the need.
So why don't you go back and talk to him? I'll stop bringing the jury or getting the jury lined up. To come back, okay?
This is the most insane thing. I'm not sure I'm going to let this in. I would be outraged. Oh, that'd be great, right? They subpoena Matt Kelsch.
Do you need anything?
I'm just going to grab the spelling while I have time.
All right, we got a couple of other donations that came in. $10 from Madeline. $10. And then we had another $5 donation from Kat. Thank you. So we're at $7.50. We're so close to beating Mazza. Oh, let's go. We got like 10 minutes. We can do this. We need $130 to do it. $31. We'll beat under $31. We'll beat Mazza.
All right, so we're ready to proceed.
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
So let's bring the jurors in, please.
I love all your optimism, but it's going to take them about 2 minutes to get here. So, yeah.
Come on. There we go. It's the jury. Lee, did you donate it straight to me or did you do it to the defense website? Because I don't see it on the defense website. That's where I'm confused. I don't see a $50 donation. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We have a very few minutes left, Mr. Jackson.
Understood. Mr. Higgins, you indicated that the phone was hooked up to some sort of machine.
I see Paula just came in with a $50 donation, though. Paula came in. We're close. I got 800. We need $80. We need like $81. Because all I've gotten on Let's see. I got a $20 donation tonight on either Cash App or Venmo, and I got a Cash App that came through for $10. So I haven't gotten any, and I don't see it on the defense website. I'm not saying they haven't, but I just didn't. I don't see it. And yeah, Paul, I just got yours, so thank you. All right, let's go. 7 minutes. Let's beat Mazda. We need $81.
You're aware, sir, that under 5 CFR 2635.702, you may not use your public office for your own personal or private gain, or for the gain of persons or organizations with which you are associated personally, under pain of a federal offense, correct?
Objection.
No, Your Honor.
Are you aware that under 5 CFR 2634.704, it's a felony to quote?
Objection, Your Honor, as to reading.
Go ahead and finish the question.
For an employee, an employee has a duty to preserve and conserve government property and shall not use such property or allow its use for other than authorized purposes. Were you?
Look how Reddy's getting nervous. So I see $100 donation there. It says, Merry Christmas, Karen. I can't confirm if it was done through our kind of little marathon here tonight. So I can't confirm that. But if someone just made a $100 donation and they forgot to put LTL Media in there, just let me know here in the chat. If it was someone in here, and then we'll add it to the total. And guess what? We beat Mazda. We beat Mazda. Let's see. It'd be great if someone can confirm that. Yeah, when you make a donation on the website, it gives you a receipt. A receipt. All right, we got about 6 minutes. But if someone did make that $100 dono, confirm it here in the chat. We'll add it to the total, and we got Mazda. Oh, we got it. I just topped it off right there. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Mazda. We got you. So we're at 900. 900. I love it. You guys are so generous and amazing. I appreciate that. I know Karen appreciates it. We did a really great thing tonight. We got 6 more minutes to get through this. Let's keep it going, though. Let's go. Let's get it to 1,000.
Aware of that federal regulation?
That objection sustained.
Sir, notwithstanding those regulations, you utilize the services of Matt Kelch as a friend and a colleague, but utilizing federal resources to pull information off your phone, correct?
Objection.
Sustained as to that form.
Young
In fact,
Mike checked in.
You were successful in getting information off your phone, which is the text that
Mike, here's your opportunity. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're busy or what you're doing, but I wanted to let you know. I don't know if you caught the show. So I kind of challenged Mazda, right? You did the 880. We just came in at $900 on the Karen Reed Defense website. Okay. But I don't know what you're doing right now, Mike, but this could be your first official appearance on LTL Media. If you want to jump up for a second, just say Merry Christmas to everybody. And I know you and I have been trying to work a show out for the longest time, and we're going to do that soon. But if you're able to, and you want to jump on for a second, I'd love to have you come up. Just say hi to everybody, and no pressure. I get it. You're probably with family, and we definitely just got back from a party. Yep. $900. So we got Mazda, but I don't know what you're doing, but if you want, jump up for a second. I'd love to have you on the panel. Me and you have been trying to do a show together, but if you can't, don't worry. We're going to do something soon. I understand. You just got back. Everybody's with their family and friends. It's not a problem. Yeah, man. If you want to come up, I'd love to have you come on for a second. It'd be really great. Because I haven't had you up on the panel before. I mean, Mike and I have been talking about doing a show for like months. And maybe Mazda's in the chat, and Mazda wants to jump with us. And we have the two M's and a B up here. I'm not sure what everybody's doing, but all right. Let's finish this one up.
Objection.
In that form, you're almost there, Mr. Jackson. That form was improper.
the information that was ultimately pulled off your phone was the information that you selected and you and Matt Kelch worked together to get off your phone, correct?
Objection.
Is that correct?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
if I
no
could
problem.
Sure.
He walked me through on how I could pull the text string with John O'Keefe and the defendant. He walked me through the process, how to use the machine.
Yeah.
And then you did that.
How do I get around this? Show on my whole phone, but how can I pick up the selected data?
I did do that.
Maddie
That's
up
That's
on
what
the
you turned over
stand.
to the police.
That's correct.
And any other information would still be on your phone ending in 5421, correct?
Well, that information stayed on my phone. I just took those strings off and provided them to the Mass State
Right.
Police.
So where's your phone?
I do not have that phone anymore.
Why?
You destroyed that phone, haven't you?
No, I threw the phone away.
You
Well,
destroyed
that's
it.
destroying the phone, isn't it?
I had every right to do that.
I didn't ask you about your rights. I asked you what you did.
Objection.
Sustained.
You destroyed the phone by removing the SIM card. Correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
All right, real quick. We got a little bit of some other donations coming in. $10. Brian and Kelly Johnson. $10. And we got Leanne all the way from Vancouver, Washington. $25. Says LTL Media, Merry Christmas, free Karen Reed, happy holidays from Vancouver, Washington. We're at 9:35. We had another anonymous donation come in for $20. That's going to put us at, let's see, where it said 9:35. Another 20. That's 9:55. And then we had a $30 donation. Says Karen Reed, thank you to all the boots on the ground and the content creators. That's awesome. The unity is great. So we're at 9:85. God, so generous. All right, let's go. 4 more minutes.
Pull the SIM card out.
Objection.
Did you pull the SIM card out of your phone?
Yep.
Your Honor, to the best of my recollection, if I did take the SIM card out, I would have when I threw it away, if I was going to take it out, I would break it or cut it. But I did not wipe the phone. I did not take anything else off it. But if I was going to throw the phone away, that's what I would have done.
Okay.
You know, as an ATF agent with electronic data experience, when you pull the SIM card out and break it, and then throw the phone away and the SIM card away, you don't need to wipe the phone.
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay,
Jackson, that's it.
Your Honor,
One more question.
Unreal.
I can do this in 30 seconds. I think. You were aware that that there was a court order that you not alter, delete, or destroy, or in any way manipulate your phone or the electronic data associated with it, correct?
Objection.
As to what date?
As of September 30th, 2022.
Objection. I don't believe that's what the court order was.
Oh man, you guys,
I think it's
you're so generous. Kay checks in. Let's I love it. She says, let's beat Mazza. I think she's probably a little bit behind in the stream, but we'll take it. So she gives the $85. Says, let's beat Mazda. Thanks to Brian. LTL, cheers. Happy New Year. We're at 1,070. 1,070. I love this. And Kelly says, 3 creators, 3 streams, almost $3,000 for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. It's such a great gift tonight to be able to do that. And you're all so generous. Very, very generous. It's so good. All right, let's go. Couple more minutes here.
Offer proof. That's exactly what it was that he was notified.
Were you aware of that?
Mike, I don't know if you're ready, but if you want to jump
What's the
up.
question exactly, Your Honor? I'm
They
sorry.
have you up here first.
Sure. Were you served with a copy of a notice
StreamYard
on September 30th, 2022?
Izzy, if you want to
that
jump
do not
up,
alter,
grab the
destroy,
link.
or manipulate anything on your phone.
We'll talk for a second.
I was served an order. Yes, that's correct.
And isn't it true, in another hearing, you explained that on September 29th, the day before you claimed you got that notice, you changed phone carriers and changed phone numbers
And I maintained the phone.
until you didn't, when you destroyed it a month later by pulling the SIM card out and throwing it away, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you do that in October? Did you destroy that phone?
Objection.
Yeah, let's not
Sustained.
forget Mike. Mike made some donations too. Mike from Young Jerks made some donations. I'm going to make a donation at the end here too.
Pull SIM card out of your phone, Mr. Higgins.
Did you?
It's possible that I did. I believe that's how I've testified. Yes.
You testified.
It's possible that if I took it out, that it was either cut or broken.
It's not just possible.
So that
And that would have been after the date the order was already denied.
Mr. Higgins, I have one question left. One
You either
question.
did it or you didn't.
Did you, Mr. Lowley's already standing. I haven't even started.
have a seat, Mr. Lally. Go ahead. Last question, Mr. Jackson.
All right, let's get this this gentleman up here. Hang on one second. Oh, let's see. Mike,
Brian.
jeez, man.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, great job, everybody.
This is, isn't this
1,000 bucks
awesome?
plus. Yeah.
It's so good. So this is actually the first official appearance of Mike from the Young Jerks here on LTL Media. Everybody's loving you. Look at everybody
Long
in the
time
chat's
coming.
loving you. And I think it's really great to have Mike up here. Again, Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you had some fun this evening. And listen, Mike and I have come really a long way. I think there was a little things that we had to work out. We handled it privately. We've built a respect for each other. And I'm really glad that we've been able to conversate and really come together, because it's sticking together, and that's what we need to do during this time right now.
Definitely. I'm glad that I consider you a friend, Brian. And I like your show. Like, you do a really good job. I love what you do, and watching you handle things, especially all the good work. I mean, the billboard you did. It just I love watching what you do. You've been doing great work this year, and I really admire you, respect you, and I'm glad that we're friends.
No, yeah, and you the same, man. I always tell you how great your show is. I think your skills as an interviewer, when you have kind of those solo guests on your show, I mean, you do an amazing job. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. I know about your radio career. You've been in YouTube for quite a while now, and I always tell you, just keep going, man. Listen to the audience. That's what we need to do. And I'm glad that you and I could work each other, work things out. We've seen each other a couple of times, during some of the events. We've shaken hands, had some laughs and some stories, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with you. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. I think 2025 is going to be. I mean, this year was wild. It was
wild.
From December to this December, I'm just like, wow, what a ride that was. You know what I mean? Like, for all of us. I mean, when Aiden got locked up, that was a tough time. That was really,
yeah.
So it's good to watch him doing so well too. Like, I feel like he's in a good space now. You can see it. Meredith is awesome, and
yeah.
I just it's great to see everyone like doing the work, you know what I mean? It's just like, whether you're boots on the ground, whether you're holding signs, or you're doing shows, or on Twitter, there's certain, everyone has their hand. Some people, like Nick Rocco, like I just watching Nick Rocco this year. Like,
yeah,
I'm so proud of that guy. I love Nick Rocco. There's so many people like that. So
yeah, then you look at, like, Peter Murphy and Dennis Sweeney, Rita Lombardi, the ones that kind of lead the boots on the ground down there.
Rita.
How fantastic all those people are.
Yeah, you said, listen to your audience. This is my message to Rita. Like, I actually just said Merry Christmas to Rita today. She said Merry Christmas back, but people miss her, man. People are like, on my show, they're like, you gotta get, as much as they ask for Bettero, they want Rita. They want to see Rita. They love Rita.
Yeah. It's okay though. Like, it's okay to take a break. I mean,
Rita's gonna take as long as she needs, which is good. She did a lot this year, probably too much. You know, and we get that. You and I get it. We do too much.
We do a lot. And sometimes you do have to step back and take a break. I took a week. I'm probably going to extend that after tonight and take a little bit more time off. I know that you've been kind of slowing down a little bit and said, hey, I want us to spend some time with friends and family, and it's okay to do that. It's hard sometimes when you're a creator, because you have that thirst to keep doing something. As much as I was saying, like, I'm going to take a break, but I'm like on Twitter a little bit, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm posting, and I'm writing articles, and it's like it's in us. It's in us to create and to inform, and it's hard sometimes to let go.
It's hard to know what the line is. Like, what's a healthy balance? Let's put it that way. I have a partner, so she tells me. That's what, like, she's just like, get off that. We're watching a movie. So, like, I have that. Thank God I have that, because I'd be worse. I would be much worse if it was.
Yeah, my new lady friend, she kind of reels me in sometimes too. She said, we'll go out, and she goes, I might start slipping into it in the dinner conversation.
Yeah.
Are we going to get LTL tonight, or are we going to get Brian? And it was funny. We were out at dinner the other night, and I purposely made this joke. I left my phone in the car, and I was like, see, I didn't bring my phone in with me because sometimes it's just like, like what's going on? Is there any information? And no, she's great though. She dials me back a little bit and reels me in.
I mean, it's hard not to because all of a sudden something will break. Like
Yeah.
you're off it, and then like all of a sudden all this news comes out, and you're like, shit, I gotta catch up. What's going on here? So it is hard. I mean, it's funny because people ask me about other like news stories and politics, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing I follow is this stuff. Sandra Birchmore, Karen Reed.
Yeah.
It like it consumes everything. Like,
yeah, we're pretty locked in here in Massachusetts. When you're here, it's hard not to get out of it. I mean, like I was out the other night in Dedham, and I just sat down, and like someone came over, and they're kind of like looking at me, and I looked at my plus one. I said, someone's probably going to come over the table, and they do, and it's just great, because like I always say, the closer you get into Canton, everybody starts kind of noticing all of us. I'm sure you probably get that when you're out.
When
too.
I'm there,
you're big
when
up
I'm
in
there,
your area, so
it's so different. I mean,
Yeah.
I get noticed once in a while up in the North Shore, but when
Yeah.
I'm, like you said, closer to Norfolk County, it's
Yeah.
a different thing. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's great that we've all had that ability to connect with people on the ground. I mean, that makes you feel good when someone comes up and says, hey, I watch a show. I think it's great what you're doing. Amongst all the, the backlash that we get too. I mean, it's nice to see that. And then
That's the best because
Yeah.
like as creators, we most of the comments are always good, but you remember the negative ones, the nasty people. But when you are out in public and someone comes up to you and you realize that they know everything. They've been watching you every freaking night, and you're like, I've never met this person before. It is an amazing feeling, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So, Mike, let me ask you, and I don't want to keep you because I know you're probably with your family, but let's we got to do a show, like a real show together.
Yes.
We're going to do that. And two, let me just do this before you head off. What's something that you'd like to see in Karen Reed 2.0 if we get there? Something that you'd like to see the defense do this time around?
More witnesses.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to see Berkowitz on the stand, Chief Berkowitz. My friend that I went to college with, the lieutenant, the deputy, Kelleher. Love to see them on the stand. The inverted video. There's so much that obviously I think they're going to drill down on. Love to see Higgins again with that video. That JFK and microdots and everyone else is dissected.
You're
I
wrong.
love to hear him asking about that.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's what's going to be exciting. Is I think the second time, I don't think they're going to do a short defense. I just have a feeling that they're going to say, you know what, let's give
double
it
down.
everything.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see who they actually put on the stand. The defense.
Something that I was surprised this time, the first trial that I was really surprised with is that, they didn't have an ARCA demonstration. And I thought that's what we were going to get. I thought we were going to get a video because that's what they do. I mean, if you go to the YouTube channel, they recreate everything. And that's what I'm hoping we get this time around. And you take Trooper Paul's theory versus the actual science and evidence that ARCA studied and formulated. And we show how preposterous and ridiculous that Trooper Paul's account, of it is. And then we actually see science and data that it doesn't line up. And I think that would be really great for the jury to see that. Because as we're super visual creatures now. Like I think
Video,
as history and
video, right?
Yeah. As history and everything's evolved, we used to be very probably text-based, but now everything is so visual and video. I think they need that to show the jury. And I think that's going to really lock it in.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up ARCA too, because I think obviously the other big thing, the jury seemed to dismiss ARCA because they didn't know that the feds hired them. They thought maybe it was an insurance company. So I'm interested to see how the defense handles that. Like, because that cannot stand next time. There has to be some kind of more information to the jury to let them know that Karen Reed defense has nothing to do with these witnesses. That has to be drilled down. So there's a lot to that. That's going to be exciting to see all these witnesses on the stand and then the defense throw up. And the other thing I'm wicked excited about is this new attorney.
Yeah,
this Robert Alessi.
He's really good.
So Yeah, I think, I don't see how the prosecution can do much better this time, but I see how the defense can do much better. It's funny. I think there's a higher ceiling for the defense on the retrial. I don't think the
Yeah.
prosecution, like, what can they do? They're trying all this stuff with the dog bites and the data. I don't think that's going to yield anything for them.
Yeah, and I'm gonna warn everybody right now. Just get ready, because all those theatrics that you saw Hank Brennan with Dr. Russell, he's gonna turn that shit up in front of a jury, and it's gonna be even tenfold with the whole like and throwing the book. You know, it's like fucking like what they do in movies. You know, like the lawyers in the movies, they throw the book on the table or the evidence on the table. I think he's gonna do a lot of that shit, you know, to try to fool this jury. But hopefully we get smart jurors. They see through all this shit, and Karen Reed gets exonerated and walks out of court, free woman. I'm confident it's going to happen. I think the defense is going to be so ready this time around, because they're just going to learn. You know, they absorb everything like a sponge. And now to just be able to go through that whole file in that trial, how it was, and just say, okay, what can we implement, or what information can we bring in, or how can we dissect these witnesses? I think the Commonwealth's got their hands full second time around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, every attorney says it's harder to win a retrial than the first trial. So
Yeah.
they got the hands full, definitely.
So Jen checks in with $10, says, Merry Christmas to Brian and Mike. Love you guys. Well, we love you. We love you.
Thank you.
All right, dude. Well, I'm probably going to wrap this one up. I've been
Yeah.
almost 3 hours up here. But
Amazing.
let's do a show soon. And we did beat Mazza, but it's all in friendly competition.
Yeah.
And someone in the chat, I think Kelly said, three live streams, almost back to back, 3 nights, $3,000 raised for Karen Reed's defense fund. That's pretty cool. And I know you did some donations. I saw him on Twitter.
Oh,
Turtle
yeah.
Boy and Karen Reed. So good on you, Mike.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to make a donation tonight before I get off stream.
I can't wait. I love it. I love to see the money coming in for Karen Reed. I think with, you know, everything that's gone on, a little drama the last few, even weeks and months, it's like everyone's like, let's get back to business. This is the business, raising money for Karen Reed. This is what we can all do. Turtle Boy defense, Karen Reed defense. It's awesome. You people are just that send money to these defense funds. You're amazing.
Super generous. All right, we got a couple more here, Mike, before we get off air. $50 just came in from Lee. She says, LTL, Matt Kelsch needs to be on the stand. Explain, pal. Higgins phone shenanigans. I love that. And Tina gave $15 direct to Karen Reed's defense fund. So we're going to add that in. And then we had another one. Let's see. $5 from Kristen. And that $5 goes a long way. Believe me. LTL Media, been here for a very long time. I'm joining Boots on the Ground next trial. 2 beautiful souls that were victims of corruption. And I'm ready for this case to bring about major changes in the law. First class act, Chris, a.k.a. FCK. I love that. That's going to bring us to $1,135 tonight.
Wow. That's
$1,135.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And I'm going to chip in $100 tonight. So I'm going to make that donation right as I get off air, and we'll cap it off at $1,235. Dude, we got to do, like I said, man, we got to do a show soon. Let's get this together.
Definitely. I'm down to do many shows with you.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice to have you here. And look, you know, Merry Christmas to you, your family. I hope you have a wonderful, relaxing day tomorrow. And did the baby come? Because I know you're waiting for the baby.
Yet.
Not yet. Mike's not having a baby.
Yeah, I'm not having a baby, but I'm going to be a step granddaddy. I'm going to be
awesome.
Grampy. Yeah, so it's no, it hasn't happened yet. So
soon,
very soon.
Yes. Let's see. Lulu checking in says, "Thank you, Brian, LTL, and mods. Great show. Hey, Mike. Merry Christmas."
Thank you.
Everybody loved the show. This is good. When we go back over the testimony, and you know, we can run like a little fundraiser-thon like this, and everybody gets involved, and it's really good. Kim says, "Woohoo." That's excellent, Brian. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, everybody. I've been up here for 3 hours. I'm tired. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get some rest. That's Mike from the Young Jerks. I know you guys all know him. Go over and check out his channel on YouTube. He's very active on Twitter as well. And you can find him over there at the Young Jerks. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on his channel. Check him out on Twitter as well. Are you anywhere else, Mike? You're not on like Instagram or anything, right?
Facebook, and like I think
Cool.
Twitch, but I've never
Yeah,
even
I never
checked
go to
Twitch.
Twitch.
We broadcast on there. It's like one person that always watches us, but I never go on there.
I
But
know.
we're on Twitch too, apparently.
Cool. All right. So we got about, what would I say? We got to 11:35. I'm gonna chip in $100 tonight. I'll make that donation as I get offline. And again, $1,235. Maza, we got you, buddy. We got you. Now someone's gonna top me. Now
No,
someone's
he's gonna come up later and do another slam dunk, another show.
Yeah, I know.
tonight or something.
But thank you, everybody.
Thank
You're
you.
all amazing. Thank you for your generous hearts over this holiday season. I know Karen, is probably more than gracious when they look on there and see all those donations. I know. Massive check.
I love that.
He's the biggest Christmas of them all.
We learned from you, Mazza.
Yeah, Maza, I love it, and it's all in friendly competition. Listen, the point is that we got some money in for the defense fund, and it's all in good faith here. So everybody, thank you so much. I love all of you. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment down below after the video post, and we'll keep banging these out. Make some money for the defense fund. That's what we're gonna keep doing, and sticking together. That's what we're gonna do. Stick together, creators, boots on the ground. Let's go into 2025 with a spirit of togetherness, and we'll get through this. I promise. All right, everybody, I'm gonna hit the outro. Mike, we'll talk soon, buddy.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Brian, and everybody. Thank you so much, and
Absolutely
great work on that fundraising. It's
awesome,
amazing.
dude. We'll talk to everybody soon. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.